Douluo, the sacred dragon staff. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 76 Road to Hell. Li Yusong stood up and looked left and right. The surroundings were dominated by a blood-red hue. It was truly hellish, worthy of being called Hell Road. However, Li Yusong felt his emotions stirred the moment he entered, leaving him feeling irritable, bloodthirsty, and mad. Li Yusong guessed that this was the hallmark of Hell Road. The unique environment was truly hellish. A narrow path, less than half a foot wide, barely wide enough for 2 feet to stand simultaneously, led to an unknown darkness. This was also the only way out from their platform. Li Yusong looked down at the platform. It was filled with a deep red liquid. Bloody Mary, very Slaughter City. Li Yusong had never touched a Bloody Mary before, except for a sip on his arrival. It was a slow-acting poison, and he had no interest in drinking it. Furthermore, the air in Slaughter City was also tainted with toxins. Li Yusong regularly took antidotes and a tranquilizer prepared by Douluo, which he brewed using herbs from the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. The effect was remarkable, giving Li Yusong time to stabilize his murderous aura and prevent it from raging. If he wanted to be more restrained, he'd probably have to leave the Slaughter City. This environment wasn't ideal for spiritual cultivation. It was truly unbearable. Li Yusong planned to rest here for a while, recovering to peak condition before continuing on. Although the road ahead was narrow, Li Yusong possessed a dragon wing spirit bone, allowing him to fly. After half an hour of restoring his condition, Li Yusong decided to continue forward. He unfolded his dragon wing spirit bone and soared forward. Why run when you can fly? You say you don't have enough soul power? Sorry, I've mastered the 5th level of this Haoshan Wuji Guang, the endless life, and that's more than enough. As Li Yusong journeyed through Hell's Road, his every move was watched by a single individual. This individual was unlike the other fallen ones. She was short, dressed in a black dress, with fair skin and a nearly perfect face, making her stand out from the crowd. The intangible nobility and holiness she exuded was especially appealing, drawing a wave of worship. How, this is the person you've gone to such lengths to write to me, begging me to look after you? Li Yusong, a gifted young man, is only 15.5 years old. His spirit, the mutated dragon pattern staff, has evolved into the coiled dragon staff, and he's achieved 100 victories in the slaughter grounds in just a year and a half. Much faster than I was back then, even faster than Tang Hao. You didn't really think I wouldn't know just because you blocked his information? Since you want it, I'll give it to you. We're all Spirit Hall members anyway. This person was Bibi Dong, the Pope of the Spirit Hall. She had actually seen Li Yusong several times. Ever since Li Yusong entered the Slaughter City, Jin Ringsu had written to Bibi Dong, asking her to keep an eye on him. Bibi Dong, though sarcastic, had arrived quickly. Daughter servant, such at Sun Deer. Li Yusong's information had been on her desk for a long time, meticulously detailed from beginning to end. She even knew about Li Yusong's love of jewelry. As someone in a higher position, offering corresponding benefits often wins hearts and minds. P.S. To clarify, I knew Li Yusong's cultivation level, his spirit ring ratio, and his hobbies. As for Li Yusong's martial soul fusion technique, Ghost Douluo didn't come that day. Moreover, every night when Li Yusong and Du Yuan practiced, Ghost Douluo would not watch, so he didn't know they had a martial soul fusion technique. He also didn't monitor them when they were hunting souls, only occasionally and regularly. He's not a paparazzi, so he knew a rough idea, but just as she was about to take action, she was rejected by a saint's order. Bibi Dong was very angry at first, but after thinking about it, she let it go. Since she wanted it, she would give it to her. Although she gave it to her, she knew all the information about Li Yusong. Did she really think the intelligence from the Pope's palace was just for show? Ghost Douluo was the best at hiding. He personally monitored them regularly, and not even Douluo could find out. Only a ghostly silhouette, no spirit rings. This was Ghost Douluo. Bibi Dong had always been quite aware of Li Yusong's strength, but they were all from her spirit hall. How could she not want such talent? Besides, they had already joined the spirit hall, so there was no need to eliminate them. As for her feud with the angel clan, it didn't conflict with her unification of the Douluo Continent. The more talent, the better. She would eventually destroy the angel clan. Well, Jin Ringsu didn't count. The scene returned to Li Luchen, soaring over the abyss. This was the advantage of having flight skills, but the further he flew, the hotter he felt. It seemed the difficulty was increasing. Of course it was hotter as they drew closer to the blood pool below. That was the core of the slaughter city. However, Li Luchen's mental power detected a group of creatures rapidly approaching. This wasn't just one or two flying creatures, but a swarm, at least 1,000. The flying creatures finally became visible. They were blood-red bats, like miniature versions of the blood-red pattern left on the ground in the hell-killing fields. Each blood bat was about a foot long, but its massive wingspan stretched over a meter. The bats are coming. Looks like this is the first stage. Avoiding them and quickly fleeing is the best strategy. Li Luchen sped up. Battling the bats was too strenuous. Their sheer numbers made it unsuitable for a one-on-one fight. Just as Li Luchen flew directly toward the narrow path, a massive creature dangled upside down below. Amidst the surrounding reddish light, it radiated a dark golden glow. The creature, roughly 4 meters long, gripped the path with two massive claws. Each claw, over a meter in diameter, clenched the stone with its sharp claws. A pair of enormous wings slowly unfolded from its dark golden body, their wingspan reaching a terrifying 10 meters. The claws suddenly released, and with a flap of its massive wings, its massive body soared into the air. It was, in fact, an immense bat. Dark gold three-headed bat king? Those 3 heads should be 30,000 years old, right? Humph, blocking my way? Can you possibly stop me? Li Luchen summoned the coiled dragon staff, activating the tyrant dragon's spine, amplifying its power. Simultaneously, he unleashed the power of the golden light's left leg bone. The coiled dragon staff took on a golden hue, emitting a strong aura of light. Dark gold three-headed bat king? Bats are afraid of light, and light is their nemesis. Li Luchen would wield his utmost power to defeat it. One move of the fighting staff, shaking the mountains and the earth. Li Luchen unleashed his own unique fighting staff technique, named after his ultimate superhero and supremely powerful being, the Monkey King. Fighting against heaven, earth, gods, ghosts, and even humans, Li Luchen's own way of fighting. The latest novel is now available on the 6ix9ine book bar. To this end, Li Luchen created 6 stick techniques: shake the mountains and earth, split the river into land, overturn the river and stir the sea, whip the mountains and move the stones, flying sand and rocks, and move the mountains and fill the sea. Shake the mountains and earth, overturn the river and stir the sea, whip the mountains and move the stones, and move the mountains and fill the sea are all offensive techniques. Split the river into land is used to divide the battlefield, and flying sand and rocks is used to confuse the opponent. Li Luchen's 6 stick techniques are extremely practical, a new creation born from the combination of the coiling dragon stick technique, the 1004 stick technique, the demon subduing stick technique, and the dragon pattern stick technique. This stick technique is uniquely suited to his own use. This stick technique was created specifically for him, and he wields it perfectly. Even if others learn from him, they can only achieve 80% of its effectiveness. Those who imitate me will live, those who imitate me will die. This principle was established by our predecessors. Would anyone simply imitate me? No way. No way. Boom. Li Luchen's powerful blow struck the dark gold three-headed bat king on the head. Chapter 77 10 Sun Snakes. Li Luchen's most powerful attack struck the dark gold three-headed bat king's head, a blow rivaling the might of a soul saint's martial soul's true form. How could a bat king with 10,000 years of cultivation withstand this? Bang! The 3 heads of the dark gold three-headed bat king exploded simultaneously. Before it could even begin to exert its power, it collapsed. After the 3 skulls shattered, a piece gleaming with a dark golden red light caught Li Luchen's attention. He grasped it with his soul power, and a dark golden red soul bone landed in his hand. The dark gold three-headed bat king's head soul bone? What a surprise! Bats specialize in sonic attacks. It must be a skull of wisdom, and its soul bone abilities should be sonic. It's top-notch. Li Luchen toyed with his soul bone for a moment before storing it in his storage soul guide. Such a treasure was truly a surprise. Seeing their leader shattered by a single blow, the thousands of bats scattered and fled. Li Luchen ignored them and continued to fly forward. Dong, observing from afar, was also stunned by Li Luochen's powerful attack. She thought to herself, when I faced those bats back then, I fled and ran. This brat actually took out the dark gold three-headed bat king with a single strike? Truly terrifying. That strike was the most powerful attack of a soul sage. The clear sky hammer doesn't have the power to crush it in a single blow. Otherwise, Tang Hao would have killed it long ago, and even dropped a soul bone. Humph, what a lucky kid. Li Luochen's every move was within Bibi Dong's sight. As the Pope, she had to keep a close eye on this genius who had secretly joined the spirit hall. What if she could bring him to the Pope's palace? But next, that strange snake won't be so easy to deal with. Bibi Dong continued to observe Li Luochen. At this point, Bibi Dong hadn't gone mad yet. Her mind was still clear. Her second spirit, the soul-devouring spider emperor, hadn't yet fully equipped its spirit rings. She could still control her evil resentment and was in decent condition. Li Luochen continued forward. If he guessed correctly, his next opponent would be the 10-headed fiery sun serpent. He knew this. Soon, Li Luochen spotted a massive, coiled creature crouching on the narrow path. It had a pair of fiery red eyes. A dark red body crept along the narrow path ahead. Its enormity couldn't be discerned, but a quick glance revealed it to be a snake. Its entire body was wrapped around the narrow path. Its eyes weren't particularly large, but its head and back were covered in 9 protuberances, each resembling a bright red mushroom, seemingly oozing blood. The snake's abdomen was enormous, bulging above the narrow path, and its length was at least 10 meters. A croaking sound emanated from the snake's mouth, like a crying baby, and the 9 tumors on its back began to glow a golden red glow. The 10-headed fiery sun serpent, a prehistoric beast, possesses an incredibly venomous force. Adults can reach over 10 meters in length and possess the most potent fire poison among snakes. After cultivating for 10,000 years, it can cultivate its inner elixir. Hidden within its 9 heads, its inner elixir eclipses the heavens and the earth. Those who possess its inner elixir fear it, and all other snakes tremble in fear. It is the supreme serpent. In the original timeline, Mohongjin's 7th spirit ring was the 10-headed fiery sun serpent. His fire phoenix spirit evolved into a 7-headed fire phoenix, and then into 9-headed fire phoenix upon becoming a titled Douluo. The 10-headed fiery sun serpent possesses an incredibly venomous force, with its fire poison being the most potent, a near-ultimate form of fire. After all, fire poison is fire. Mohongjin's spirit evolved into a super spirit, ultimately paving the way for him to attain first-level deity status, but unfortunately, he failed. However, thanks to Li Luochen, the butterfly, Mohongjin in this life is incredibly diligent, having resolved his spirit quest at the age of 6.5. He will no longer be a brothel phoenix. At least before Li Luochen's departure, his efforts rivaled those of his seniors, Qinming and Moyu. Li Luochen was confident that Mohongjin would satisfy him upon his return, but the most urgent task was to destroy the 10-headed fiery sun snake. The 10-headed fiery sun snake's inner core would escape its body and attack. Once it did, severing the connection between the core and the snake's body would be enough to kill the 10-headed fiery sun snake. However, he had to force it to use its inner core's power. Li Luochen swung his panlong staff, blasting the 10-headed fiery sun snake with over 10 tons of force. The 10-headed fiery sun snake hadn't expected this human to disregard martial ethics and attack its comrade of over 10,000 years. It was always their kind who attacked by surprise, and no other creature dared. The 10-headed fiery sun snake was enraged. Anger finally shone in its golden red eyes, and the 9 golden red tumors on its back grew brighter. Quack, quack, it cried in anger. Its body arched in the narrow path, its 9 tumors pointed directly at Li Luochen. Suddenly, the 9 tumors shattered simultaneously, sending 9 streams of golden red liquid spurting out. These streams didn't shoot straight through the air, but instead shot upward in front of Li Luochen. The 9 streams merged into one in mid-air, and just as they were about to reach him, they suddenly paused. All of the liquid simultaneously contracted, transforming into a fist-sized golden red ball, which then slammed down towards Li Luochen. I've been waiting for you to use your inner elixir. But using your inner elixir to attack someone is like a giant and cultivator using their inner elixir to attack someone. It feels a bit strange. Li Luochen had waited for his chance, but he didn't forget to quip. Fighting 3 moves, overturning rivers and stirring seas, Li Luochen swung the panlong stick and hurled it in a spinning motion. The thrown stick spun like a disc, its weight and rotation driving everything around it like a miniature tornado. Boom! The latest novel is being released on the 6th and 9th book forum. The coiled dragon staff shattered the 10-headed fiery sun serpent's body, and the inner core, which was about to strike Li Luochen, lost control and fell. Li Luochen released his soul power to draw the 10-headed fiery sun serpent's inner core towards him. Although the inner core was highly poisonous, Li Luochen was immune to all poisons, so he was not affected. Li Luochen stared at the golden red ball in his hand, which bore the markings of the 10-headed fiery sun serpent. After a moment's scrutiny, Li Luochen placed the inner core in a porcelain jar and stored it in his soul storage device. This inner core was extremely valuable, capable of transforming into a spirit ring. A powerful tonic for fire-attributed and snake-type spirit masters. Unfortunately, the little snake girl Du Guyan had transformed into little dragon girl, rendering it useless to her. As for Ma Hongjian, according to Li Luochen's future path, he'll become the ultimate flame, so he won't need this. Later, when he has time, he should visit the immortal volcano in the Star Dou Great Forest. Perhaps there's something valuable there. Give this inner elixir to Douluo. After all, his grandfather has been a great help to him. This inner elixir might help him take it a step further. His golden phosphorus snake king is already the emperor of snakes. If he absorbs the inner elixir of the supreme serpent, he should be able to evolve even further. Furthermore, Douluo's breakthroughs are proving difficult. He already has 5 spirit bones, but he still needs a torso bone. High-quality torso bones suitable for him are incredibly difficult to find. This inner elixir might help him reach a higher level. Perhaps the energy from this inner elixir can help increase the age of Douluo's spirit ring. After all, it's Ma Hongjian's 7th spirit ring from the original timeline. Who knows, Douluo's strength might increase significantly. Douluo is now at least at the peak of level 95. After swallowing this inner elixir, he should be able to upgrade 1 level, and his martial soul should also evolve. Li Luochen feels that the stronger Douluo is, the safer he will be. Chapter 78, Through the Road to Hell, the Realm of Killing God. After Li Luochen defeated the 10-headed fiery sun serpent, including the previous one against the dark old 3-headed bat king, he had fought with all his might. His spirit power was somewhat depleted, so he decided to rest for a while, replenish his food and water, and then make a final push through the Hell Road. The final stage was a sprint, and Li Luochen wanted to complete it at his best. After resting for half an hour, Li Luochen continued forward, the burning sensation growing steadily stronger as he advanced. Even more difficult for him to adapt to, the air seemed to hold a peculiar aura. A sense of oppression grew increasingly palpable within him, and his own murderous aura was unleashed even more recklessly. Looks like it's time for the final sprint. If I make it through this stage, I'll have a clear horizon, but otherwise, I'm done for, Li Luochen muttered to himself. The final stage of the Hell Road was a test of willpower. Li Luochen's flight speed increased, and as he approached the abyss, so did his speed. The air grew noticeably hotter, and his vision grew increasingly blurry. Even with the spiritual power of a Contra, Li Luochen could only see about 1,000 meters in the surrounding reddish mist. In the abysses flanking the narrow path, dark red liquid seethed and flowed. Yes, it was blood, yet this bloody liquid, reeking of blood, possessed the warmth of magma. Luckily, Li Luochen had taken fiery apricot, giving him considerable resistance to fire, and the strange mushroom and sky-reaching chrysanthemum had strengthened his body. Any other Soul King would have been defeated. After flying for nearly half an hour, his mind, constantly riled by murderous aura, Li Luochen finally sighted the exit. Even Li Luochen's fortitude and nerves couldn't withstand the combined force of the murderous aura and the surroundings. He could only hold out for another half an hour. Just then, Li Luochen sighted the exit in the distance. The exit was strikingly clear, a white light coalescing into an elliptical curtain of light. There, too, marked the end of Li Luochen's journey. Important. The end was almost here. Although the exit was above the narrow path, it didn't faze Li Luochen. He could fly. He flew at top speed into the white exit. Everything around him seemed to be shifting. The moment Li Luochen flew into the white exit, he felt as if his body had entered a special world. All around him was a white void, and the dragon wing spirit bone he had released, under pressure, was completely retracted into his body. In this white world, he could no longer exert any strength. The only sensation was icy cold. It was as if countless icy chills were gathering within him, and countless icy chills were being released from within him. Within this white void, Li Luochen gritted his teeth, but the chill, which shouldn't have been there, persisted. It wasn't a true temperature change, but rather the chill of murderous intent. The purest murderous aura rapidly invaded Li Luochun's body, trembling with each intrusion. As the cold gradually stiffened his heart, his consciousness began to fade away along with his awareness. Li Luochun knew this was the process of consolidating the god of killing's domain. The light bolt had already passed through thousands of mountains. Soon, Li Luochun fainted. An unknown amount of time passed before Li Luochun woke up again, lying on a patch of grass. The long-awaited sunlight bathed him. A feeling of comfort. Li Luochun stood up and opened his arms, enjoying the warmth of the sun. He had finally left that inhospitable place. He had been in the slaughter city for a year and a half, and any longer would have rendered him subhuman. Li Luochun extended his right hand and summoned his coiled dragon staff. He wanted to see what he had reaped. A new white pattern appeared on the coiled dragon staff. It resembled the blood-stained pattern on the ground of the Hell-killing grounds when the Hell Road was activated, only much smaller and wider. As Li Luochun tried to feel the white pattern, a surge of white light suddenly erupted, emanating from the coiled dragon staff. But it quickly faded to colorless. Is this the killing god's domain? The Shrek god's first test. The martial spirit's innate domain, gained through the trials of the Hell Road in the slaughter city, is a realm condensed from murderous aura, a realm that grows stronger as the aura intensifies. The killing god domain absorbs his own murderous aura, forming a domain attributed to his martial soul. Within the killing god domain, the user's aura is enhanced. While within the domain, the enemy's strength is automatically weakened by 10%, while the user can exert 110% of their full strength. This percentage increases as the martial soul grows. Excellent. A year and a half of torment was well worth it to acquire such a powerful domain-type soul skill. Finally, he'd made it. Li Luochun felt like sobbing to the heavens. Not bad. She actually passed the test. Her vision is quite good. Suddenly, a cold female voice broke the silence. Li Luochun felt a chill run down his spine. Who could have approached him without him noticing? He looked closer and saw it was a woman. She was short, dressed in a black dress, with fair skin and a nearly perfect face. She stood out from the crowd. The intangible nobility and sacredness she exuded was truly inspiring, a feeling of worship. Li Luochun immediately had the answer. Pope Bibi Dong, Douluo Continent's most romantically obsessed and deeply misogynistic, the thought of her made Li Luochun's anus tighten. Meeting her instantly overwhelmed him. Your Majesty, Li Luochun stuttered in fear. What's wrong? Li Luochun knelt on one knee and saluted Bibi Dong. The Shrek code of survival was to avoid trouble, but Li Luochun silently added another: when faced with difficulties, one must follow one's heart. Bibi Dong was a powerful boss, and one who was also extremely world-weary. How could a mere level 59 soul king like him be instantly defeated? Follow your heart, follow your heart. Hopefully, courtesy will be tolerated. Get up. You're quite good. It seems she has good taste. Bibi Dong looked at the trembling Li Luochun, and she had a certain appreciation for this genius. Most people would salivate at the sight of her, then restrain themselves when they remembered she was the Pope and a titled Douluo. Li Luochun, however, was instantly terrified, which puzzled her. Bibi Dong's description of her as the continent's most beautiful woman wasn't an exaggeration. Why didn't this brat appreciate her? But Bibi Dong didn't dwell on it, likely captivated by her domineering presence. The latest novels are released on the 69th Book Forum. This is all for Spirit Hall. Long live Spirit Hall, Li Luochun said nervously, raising both hands when he said long live, demonstrating his loyalty. Spirit Hall wasn't wrong about you. This is for you. If you can achieve Soul Saint status within 5 years, you will be your Spirit Hall's holy son. Bibi Dong tossed a black token to Li Luochun, drawing a picture of a holy son. Li Luochun took the token and realized it was actually the Pope's token. He was a bit shocked, but he still bowed to Bibi Dong. Thank you, Your Holiness, for your appreciation. I'm willing to die for the Spirit Hall, Li Luochun thought to himself. Die for a living, huh? I'm not giving you my life. Hurry up, you spider woman. My legs are weak. Okay. I'll look forward to seeing you next time, Bibi Dong said, and then she left. She had to go back to the Spirit Hall to attend to matters. Farewell, Your Holiness, Li Luochun bowed and saw Bibi Dong off. After a long wait, Li Luochun stood up and sat on the ground, muttering to himself. Why is that crazy woman Bibi Dong here? Although gaining the killing god domain has made me much stronger, It's really scary to be in the presence of this crazy woman. Love-brained people hate these slavish sycophants the most. Such a beautiful woman with such a great figure, but she's attracted to a loser? I even secretly visited Yu Gang. He's not even as good looking as Ma Hongjian, and only slightly more attractive than the bearded Flanders. So, are these two beauties completely devoted to him? Just a theory he made up based on basic common sense? Or is his soul power level 29? What's the point of him? He's ugly, his cultivation is low, and he's so arrogant. You can tell he's a wimp. He's been running away so many times, old FW, and he's still a scumbag. I'm so pissed off. I'll have to get rid of him sooner or later. Li Luochen finished his inner rant and headed straight for Xiandao City. He hadn't seen Du Yuan in a year and a half and missed her terribly. But there was still work to do. He had to get two people out. There was no way he could be timid about Bibi Dong. After all, Bibi Dong was the final boss, with an unpredictable love brain and a deep dislike for men. Li Luochen's fear was normal. It was like walking out the door and a tiger was in front of you. You didn't know if it would actually eat you. Forget about Bibi Dong being pretty. Li Luochen wasn't someone who thought with his lower body. Anyone with a common sense knew that looking at Bibi Dong with evil eyes would definitely result in a slap to death. Li Luochen didn't dare admire her at all. Someone as unpredictable as Bibi Dong was the most dangerous, so fear was normal. Chapter 79, Shrek, God-given soul ring. As Li Luochen prepared to re-enter Slaughter City, far from Douluo Continent, in the Divine Realm, the Divine Realm Council, the Shrek Temple. 15 years old, cultivation level 59, a super weapon spirit? This weapon spirit even has some dragon god influence? Something's up, Have you absorbed so many immortal herbs? Outstanding staff techniques, with powerful swings and sweeps. A good state of mind, strong willpower too, but I just prefer a more steady approach. Oh? And a spirit fusion technique? Interesting. Ever since Tang Chen's defeat, I've been keeping an eye on the Haotian sect. The only one I can watch is Tang Hao, and he's fallen flat. I even braved pressure from other divine kings to bring someone from another plane to replace the Son of Fortune and inherit my legacy. Now it seems that's no longer necessary. Furthermore, Tang San's character isn't great, though he has talent, but unfortunately, he's not clean. And after all, he's extreme and emotional. As the divine king of law enforcement, the Shrek god, take this into account most. Li Luochen is okay, at least he doesn't have the same negative mentality as Tang San. Let him give it a try. If he can't succeed, then no one else can become my successor. Li Luochen is infinitely more talented than Tang Chen. While he doesn't share Tang San's twin spirits, he specializes in weapon spirits, and his use of weapons is undoubtedly superior to Tang San's. Tang San? Still being taught control by a loser? I'm the God Realm's ultimate attacker? How can I control it? I love Li Luochen's powerful, sweeping attacks, shattering his enemies' bodies. If he doesn't succeed, let Tang San try. A few days won't matter, anyway. But this damn Tang Chen is still holding up my divine test. The doomed loser will be dealt with by Li Luochen. I can't give the divine test to another who has already taken it. This is the rule of divine succession in the God Realm. Although I've cast a wide net, I can only grant one divine test, and it's a pity that Tang Chen has blocked it. Li Luochen must defeat Tang Chen first if he wants to obtain it. But to prevent any other scoundrels from getting their eyes on him, I'll mark him first. Well, now you're considered my man. It seems he's almost level 60. Give him a divinely bestowed spirit ring to let him know he's been favored by the gods. Let the Slaughter King, Tang Chen, deliver it. The man who spoke was none other than the Azure god. Tall and imposing, he exuded an icy aura condensed from a tangible murderous aura. His entire body was shrouded in dark red magic patterns, a dark red glow surrounding him. He wore armor covered in dark red magic patterns, and possessed a pair of blood-red eyes. With a flick of his hand, a red line appeared on Li Luochen's forehead in the lower realm, but it quickly vanished, leaving Li Luochen unaware of it. At the same time, the Slaughter King of the Slaughter City suddenly received divine command. A red gold orb appeared in his hand, which he handed to Li Luochen. The Slaughter King dared not neglect the matter. He was 100,000-year-old blood-red nine-headed Bat King, instructed by a certain god to parasitize Tang Chen, who is undergoing a divine trial. Now that the Azure god had come to him, how could he not be terrified? Fortunately, it was for Li Luochen, indicating that he was the sure god's prized successor. Tang Chen had been abandoned, and it was likely that he would have to be eliminated before the divine trial could begin. However, Tang Chen's health was also failing, and he was considering a replacement. At this moment, the Slaughter King suddenly noticed Li Luochen re-entering the Slaughter City. He looked puzzled, but just in time to give him the item in his hand. Li Luochen had just re-entered the Slaughter City when he was stopped by the Slaughter King. Respected divine favored one, this is a gift entrusted to you by the great gods. Please keep it. The Slaughter King's flattering words shocked Li Luochen. Hadn't we been apart for more than a day? How could such a change have occurred? Divine favored one? Could it be? Li Luochen glanced at the reddish gold orb in the Slaughter King's hand, and a hypothesis formed. He took it and questioned the Slaughter King. What is this, respected divine favored one? This is a divinely bestowed spirit ring, bestowed by the gods. The user does not need to hunt spirit beasts. It is granted the spirit skills they need most and the highest level of spirit ring they can withstand. The Slaughter King's words confirmed Li Luochen's suspicions. He must have been favored by the gods. However, with his immense talent, it was impossible for him not to be valued. The Slaughter City had two gods, Rakshasa and Shura. Rakshasa couldn't possibly be the one. She already had Bibi Dong, and she was a shrewd thief. She hadn't given Bibi Dong anything good, and she was even messing with her, driving her mad. Even if you were given such a deity, he wouldn't want such a position. Shura was the right choice. The Divine Realm's law enforcer, the Divine Realm's supreme offensive power, was a good match for his weapon spirit. Furthermore, since he had obtained the Slaughter God domain, he was one of his successors, so he was undoubtedly valued by him. So, did this mean that Tang San's most important background was gone? He was merely a child of destiny, but even a child of destiny couldn't be more powerful than a god king. This status was bestowed upon him by the Azure God, and Tang San's upbringing is inextricably linked to the Azure God. The Azure God, eager to escape quickly, gave all his possessions to Tang San, leaving him to explore other worlds with Poseidon. However, Tang San's subsequent godhood was truly outrageous. He frequently interfered in the mortal world as a god, using his own daughter to seduce the child of destiny, seeking the destiny of the spirit beast clans and seizing control of the Douluo Continent. He made his parents the plane masters and life cores of Douluo Continent, transforming the continent into his private property. The latest novel is now available on the 69th book bar. But the most outrageous part is the chastity chain he placed on his daughter, designed to protect Hoyuheo, and then used Orange's son to threaten Orange into retreating. Using a mother's child to threaten her? Haha, is this something a god would do? Is this something a normal person would do? This is truly outrageous. He stole the Tang sect's legacy, then came to Douluo Continent to create his own Tang sect. Well, that's not a big deal, but it's a bit disgusting. After all, the Tang sect treated him badly, so what he did was fine. So you seized Dugubo's yin-yang eyes of ice and fire and spread a poisonous miasma that rendered Sunset Forest, a large spirit beast forest, barren? So greedy, but I think I'd do the same. In that respect, I'm no different from Tang San, but I'm Dugubo's grandson-in-law, so inheriting his things shouldn't be a problem. Forget it, Tang San will definitely become an enemy anyway. He and Dugu Yan's spirit rings require the Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape, and Xiao Wu's 100,000-year-old soft-bone charming rabbit as a 7th spirit ring. Xiao Wu's spirit bone, with its teleportation and invincible golden body, is pretty good, making it a top-grade life-saving spirit bone. Li Luochen has long wanted this kind of free spirit ring and spirit bone. Even if Xiao Wu is pretty, what can she do? She is just a pretty skeleton. He is not used to living with rabbits. His own little dragon girl Dugu Yan is very good. She is enough for him. Anyway, sooner or later, I will have to deal with Xiao Wu and I will have to confront the way of death. It is not a big problem. The enemy is in the open and I am in the dark. Moreover, I can weaken him in advance. It seems to give him benefits and opportunities, but in fact it is to cut off his foundation. Hey. How to cut off Tang San's foundation? This is simple. I deliberately gave him a few 10,000-year spirit bones in the name of senior. They are 20 or 30,000 years old. It seems that they are very useful to him now, but the result is he. Those who understand will understand. It turns out that all the 100,000-year spirit bones have been reduced to 20 or 30,000-year spirit bones. Hey. Chapter 80 Taking the Subordinates Away. Li Luochen pondered for a moment before storing the divinely bestowed spirit ring into his storage soul guide. He could absorb it at any time if he reached a bottleneck, so he'd keep it for now. King of Slaughter, I need to take 2 of them with me. As the god of slaughter, I suppose I have this privilege, right? Li Luochen asked bluntly. Now a favored one, he spoke with authority. Okay, which 2? I'll have someone bring them. The King of Slaughter didn't bristle at Li Luochen's words. He didn't dare. A favored one, once struck, couldn't be touched a second time. He truly didn't dare to provoke Li Luochen. Li Luochen looked at the King of Slaughter before him. Well, he still preferred the King of Slaughter's earlier, unruly self, but it was a shame he couldn't recover. Blood Tiger Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin, Li Luochen wanted these 2. Dai Xiangxing had already recognized him as his master, so bringing him out wouldn't be a problem. Besides, Li Luochen wasn't afraid of a near-soul Douluo like him. As for Lin Chenkin, Li Luochen felt more at ease. He'd been his doorman for over 6 months, so he was quite capable. The 2 main ones are both in their 40s. Dai Xiangxing is 45 and level 80, while Lin Chenkin is 41 and level 74. Both are genius level. Dai Xiangxing has the potential to become a titled Douluo, and Lin Chenkin has the potential as well. This includes Li Luochen's loyal subordinates, who he has prepared for Shrek Academy to replenish its high-level combat power. After all, in this era, soul Douluos are considered powerful, and titled Douluos are a scarce resource. There are probably no more than 30 titled Douluos on the continent at this point. Li Luochen is already quite satisfied with a number of soul Douluo level powerhouses. Furthermore, Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin are not too old either. They should be able to become titled Douluos in their 60s or 70s. Titled Douluos are difficult to recruit, but qualified soul Douluos and soul sages can still be recruited. After all, Shrek Academy currently only has 1 titled Douluo, Poison Douluo. Flanders and Zhao Wuji are soul Douluos, and the rest of the teachers are soul sages. The lineup is already strong, but the more the better. From now on, all guards of Shrek Academy must be soul Douluos. Maybe add a rule. Master Jade is not allowed to enter, haha. Soon, the messenger from the Slaughter City led 2 people out. The one on the left was blonde, over 2 meters tall, with a sturdy build, and exuding a bloody aura. This was the Blood Tiger Dai Xiangxing. The one on the right had black hair but deep purple eyes, and a strange, sinister look. This was the demon dragon Lin Chenkin. These 2 were the dragon and tiger guardians that Li Luochen had subdued in the Slaughter City. Dai Xiangxing had been in the Slaughter City for 7 years, and Lin Chenkin had been there for 4. However, Dai Xiangxing was framed and thrown in. Lin Chenkin was similarly trapped, having been tricked by a friend. They had originally planned to explore the Slaughter City together to gain opportunities, but his friend had died long ago, leaving him here. Both men were eligible for the title, having been subdued by Li Luochen with poison. Taming them slowly wouldn't be a problem. Douluo Continent still holds many people in higher regard for their reputations, and everyone upholds a strong sense of martial virtue. Alright, then. I'll take these 2 with me. The Slaughter King bids farewell. Li Luochen led the 2 men on their way, saying a simple farewell to the Slaughter King. The Slaughter King was infuriated by Li Luochen's disregard, but he could do nothing about it. Putting aside his connections, he was now favored by the gods. Everything he had was divinely gifted, and he had no recourse. Meanwhile, Li Luochen led Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin out of the Slaughter City. The familiar sunlight bathed them, leaving them feeling isolated and alienated. It was warm yet strange. Li Luochen knew they had been in the Slaughter City for too long, believing they would die of old age there forever. He had never imagined they would see the light of day again. The 2 not only enjoyed the sun's nourishment but also activated their martial spirits. Familiar spirit rings emerged one after another, each in its optimal configuration: yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black, black. However, Dai Xiangxing's spirit power had reached level 80. With just 1 spirit ring, he could become a true soul Douluo. A soul Douluo at 45, he could certainly become a titled Douluo before 60. Have you enjoyed enough? Here's your antidote for a month. It's been 2 weeks since the last one. Take it. Li Luochen held out 2 pills, which Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin swallowed immediately. They had volunteered to take the poison, hoping Li Luochen would keep his promise and lead them out. Thankfully, their gamble paid off. Even if they recognized their master, what good would it be? The outside world was better than Slaughter City. Meanwhile, Dai Xiangxing's nerves relaxed, and the murderous aura within him began to surge. His murderous aura merged with the bloody aura of his martial spirit, marking his 57th victory in Slaughter City. He possessed a considerable amount of murderous aura, and after more than 50 rounds, a head soul bone was required to guard his spiritual sea, otherwise it would easily go berserk due to the murderous aura, and Dai Xiangxing was currently experiencing a murderous outburst. Li Luochen was debating what to do when, on a sudden impulse, he produced a head soul bone, orange-yellow with black markings. "You're in luck." Li Luochen pressed the head soul bone against Dai Xiangxing's head. This head soul bone had been obtained from a powerful contrarian master in Li Luochen's killing field. The contrarian master's martial spirit was a tiger, likely dropped from his 8th soul ring. It was over 40,000 years old, and a tiger head soul bone was a perfect match for Dai Xiangxing. Li Luochen encountered numerous obstacles upon obtaining this head soul bone. He had to climb out of a sea of blood and corpses, killing the fallen to the point of terror, to keep it. It's considered an investment now. A 40,000-year-old skull is incredibly valuable, even a titled Douluo would envy it. Did they see Lin Chenkin drooling at the side of the head soul bone? Soul bones are incredibly attractive to spirit masters. Li Luochen looked at Lin Chenkin with a strange expression. "Not really, are you? If I weren't here, would you kill someone to take the bone?" But then again, a 10,000-year-old head soul bone is something titled Douluo would want. The latest novel is available for first release on 69 Shuba. Dai Xiangxing's sea of consciousness felt a chill, and his blood-red eyes cleared. He had lost control, but not amnesia. The master he recognized had actually given him a head soul bone to help him control his murderous aura. He knew where the soul bone came from. He had initially wanted to steal it, but after watching Li Luochen slaughter all the thieves, he gave up on it. Dai Xiangxing thought he had absorbed it himself, but he hadn't expected Li Luochen to give it to him. This meant Li Luochen had a head soul bone. Dai Xiangxing used his increased mental strength to suppress his own murderous aura and blood evil aura, but a new situation arose. The murderous aura and blood evil aura merged. The blood evil aura was dominant, a characteristic of his spirit, the demonic pattern blood tiger. As a mutant spirit, the demonic pattern blood tiger's attack power was even stronger than that of the imperial white tiger. This blood evil aura also possessed a certain frenzy, giving Dai Xiangxing the confidence to fight against opponents of higher levels. Now, the murderous aura and blood evil aura accumulated in the Slaughter City merged, creating a domain. This was his spirit's domain, the blood evil domain. While in the blood evil domain state, all attributes increased by 10%, meaning Dai Xiangxing could unleash 100% of his combat power. Moreover, this blood evil field has certain other effects. It can reduce the opponent's senses and reduce all attributes of the opponent by 5%. Chapter 81 Return to Heaven, Reunion. Half an hour later, Dai Xiangxing regained his composure. He had just awakened his own domain, a pleasant surprise. Without Li Luochen's spirit bone, he likely wouldn't have survived. He was filled with gratitude. He still had his brother and mother, and he needed to return to see them to reassure himself. He had already been in the Slaughter City for 7 years, and things had changed dramatically. Li Luochen offered him the hope of reuniting with his family. Even if they later accepted him as their master, it didn't matter. However, before that, he needed to obtain his 8th spirit ring and attain the power of a soul Douluo to safely escape the Star Luo Empire. After all, he was still a criminal in name only. That damned crown prince and queen, the crown prince was Dai Mubei's father, and Dai Xiangxing was considered his cousin, but Dai Xiangxing loathed their lineage. Although Dai Xiangxing was eager to return home, his strength wasn't there yet. He needed to obtain his 8th spirit ring to have the confidence to do so. "Since you're alright, let's go. Let's go to Xiandao City first," Li Luochen announced their next destination. Lin Chenkin had little to say. He was originally from the Xiandao Empire and had been to Xiandao City, so it wasn't a big deal. Dai Xiangxing was from the Xingluo Empire, but he looked down on it. Its royal family was weak, its political power was decentralized, and it was far weaker than the Xingluo Empire. Dai Xiangxing was a case in point. Even if the crown prince wasn't the emperor, he could have betrayed Dai Xiangxing, and no one would have pleaded for him, even though Dai Xiangxing was incredibly talented. The Xingluo Empire was simply centralized. In the emperor's absence, the crown prince reigned supreme. Furthermore, the emperor's empress was always from the Zhou family, the Xingluo netherworld spirit cat. The Zhou family was the largest dukedom in the Xingluo Empire. The crown prince's lineage was incredibly powerful, and the Dai and Zhou families complemented each other to rule the Xingluo Empire. Furthermore, the Xingluo Empire had far more titled Douluo than the Xiandao Empire. The Xingluo Empire's Grand Priest was level 96, while the old emperor, now the retired emperor, was level 93. There was also a titled Douluo priest from the Xingguan sect, and the deceased sea serpent priests were all from the Xingluo Empire, secondary setting. Furthermore, the old emperor's empress is a sole Douluo level netherworld spirit cat. Their combined spirits are even stronger than those of a level 95 super Douluo, and the Haoshan sect implicitly supports the Xingluo Empire. As for the Xiandao Empire, there are indeed quite a few soul Douluos. The only publicly recognized title Douluo is Poison Douluo Dougubo. However, the three captains of the Xiandao Royal Knights possess soul fusion, and all three are soul Douluo powerhouses. The Xiandao Empire is somewhat capable in this regard. Emperor Zi is quite capable. According to information obtained from Dougubo, he possesses a soul power of level 86. His inherited Zhou family spirit, the Swan, possesses a light attribute and possesses exceptional combat power. This explains why Emperor Zi was able to resist poison for so long. His profound soul power allows him to resist toxins, and his cultivation is also considerable, making him impervious to stabbing attacks like snake spears and blood-piercing weapons. Furthermore, according to Dougubo, the Xiandao Empire had a title Douluo over a decade ago, but it seems he passed away due to a serious injury sustained in his youth. Therefore, Dougubo's status is now highly respected. But this has nothing to do with Li Luochen. Your Heaven Dao Empire has been wiped out, and Jin Ringsu is already undermining its foundation. Even if she fails, the Heaven Dao Empire will likely split. Furthermore, the nobles of the Heaven Dao Empire are truly living a life of debauchery. It's truly disgusting. No wonder the Spirit Hall commands the support of so many commoner spirit masters, as well as the majority of spirit masters. It's all because your empire is incompetent. You deserve it. If it weren't for the birth of Tang Fozhu, your two empires would have been gone long ago. Regardless of these unfortunate events, Li Luochen took Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin to Heaven Dao City. He hadn't seen Du Yuyan in a year and a half and missed her terribly. Ever since Li Luochen and Du Yuyan achieved 100% spirit fusion, he could sense Du Yuyan's condition, and Du Yuyan could sense Li Luochen's condition, too. Several times, Li Luochen was seriously injured, and Du Yuyan sensed it, but he gritted his teeth and persevered. Du Yuyan sensed the connection hadn't been broken, and only when the weakened Li Luochen regained his vigor and vitality did she feel relieved. A few days later, Li Luochen finally returned to Xiandao City after a year and a half. Everyone kept their distance, and anyone who got close felt a chill run down their spines. This was because Li Luochen hadn't yet mastered the use of his murderous aura, allowing it to radiate freely. He didn't want to suppress it, so he tried to relax, completely unwinding to help control it. But it didn't seem to be working. The murderous aura emanating from Li Luochen sent a chill down their spine. Li Luochen paid no attention to the passers-by, his only target was the Douyu mansion. Arriving at the residence, he knocked on the door. When the door opened, Butler Wang looked surprised to see Li Luochen. "Who's there?" "The Douyu mansion doesn't accept guests." "Young Master Luochen is back?" "Young Master Luochen is back." Miss, young Master Luochen is back." Butler Wang's shout startled Du Yuyan, who was in retreat. Tears streamed down her cheeks at the news of Li Luochen's return. Just a few days ago, she sensed a loss of connection with Li Luochen. She was distraught, but soon after, the connection was restored, and she breathed a sigh of relief. When she gained the God of Killing domain, she was in a special dimension and couldn't sense it. Du Yuyan rushed out, delighted to see Li Luochen standing at the door, and pounced on him. She felt the warmth and scent of Li Luochen's body, but as soon as she embraced him, Du Yuyan sensed something was wrong. Li Luochen's breath was cold, and the reek of blood was strong. She could sense that he had killed many people. The latest novel is now available on the 69th Book Forum. Li Luochen's temperament is completely different now. Before, Li Luochen was always full of whimsical ideas, a bit silly, and a bit mischievous. Overall, Du Yuyan felt that he was a very sunny person. Li Luochen now exuded a cold, murderous aura, the reek of blood thick around him. His once lazy and sunny eyes had become cold and indifferent, as if he cared nothing about the passing of life. Seeing Du Yuyan lunge at him, Li Luochen suppressed his own murderous aura, unwilling to let it harm her. He wrapped his arms around her waist, and her warmth warmed his heart. In the slaughter city, a place unsuitable for human beings, the daily smell of blood and cold murderous aura filled Li Luochun's heart. Feeling Du Yuyan's warmth now eased Li Luochun's heart, and his murderous aura subsided somewhat. The two of them remained embracing each other. Behind them, Lin Chengqin and Dai Xiangxing stared at each other, tactfully following Steward Wen to the living room. They had learned along the way that this was the residence of a titled Douluo, a level 95 super Douluo, and they didn't dare act rashly. After all, a super Douluo could easily strike them with a single slap, so they obediently followed Steward Wen to the living room and waited. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Confession. Jin Ringsu learned of Li Luochun's return to Xiandao City the moment he arrived. She began to question her life. He's only 15.5 years old, and he passed the Slaughter City trials in just a year and a half? It took Tang Hao, the Haitian sect's greatest talent, 5 years to get through Slaughter City. That woman took 4 years, and Li Luochun only a year and a half? And his spirit power is definitely lower than both Tang Hao and that woman's. This is truly terrifying. How could you be so strong? Jin Ringsu, possess the strongest talent and the most powerful martial spirit, yet I'm inferior to him. Jin Ringsu's heart was filled with complex emotions. She had always been incredibly confident in her own talent. Besides her mother, who disowned her, possessing such exceptional talent, there was another one. And he was 4 years younger than her. Li Luochun was currently level 59, while she had only reached level 65 in just over a year. And that was because she had squeezed in plenty of time for diligent cultivation. She hadn't slacked off during this time. She was about to be overtaken. How could she be so embarrassed? No, I'm his superior after all. How can I be weaker than him? I have to summon him sooner rather than later. Otherwise, the next time he surpasses me, how will he look down on me, the young master? I have to raise my status as the young master, the superior, or he'll look down on me. Yes, this must be done. Otherwise, he'll definitely look down on me, a superior with a lower cultivation level than him. Jin Ringsu's mind raced. It turned out that being in love was hereditary, but she herself didn't know it. Ever since she took Li Luochun under her wing, she'd been receiving constant messages from him. She knew his general direction. When a woman becomes interested in a man, she's already on the verge of falling for him. But these were all Jin Ringsu's own fantasies, and self-inflicted fantasies were the most lethal. Ahem, Uncle Shi, go summon my subordinate Li Luochun. I need to see him. Jin Ringsu's cold voice rang out. Shi Long, the snake spear Douluo hiding in the shadows, said, "Yes, Miss Sixu, take good care of Miss." With that, the snake spear Douluo departed. Elsewhere, Li Luochun and Du Yuyan enjoyed their time together. It had been a year and a half since they'd been apart, and they'd only been together for a little over 3 years, but half of that time had been spent apart. Yanzi, I really miss you. Slaughter City is a horrible place. I'm telling you, Li Luochun, usually silent in Slaughter City, now opened up. The Slaughter City was too oppressive, and without anyone he could confide in, his heart grew colder. The sheer number of people he'd killed had caused Li Luochun to become somewhat mentally unstable. Indeed, Li Luochun was treated like a completely unhuman being in Slaughter City. He was, after all, just an ordinary person with a good cultivation talent. He had already taken countless lives, and his mindset had become strained. Taking too many lives can lead to numbness, but Li Luochun suddenly felt a surge of self-doubt and a sudden fear, a clash between his cold and numb personality and his positive and upright personality. This made him feel somewhat vulnerable. Du Yuyan listened quietly to Li Luochun's story, and she felt that he had become somewhat fragile. After all, he had just come from such a place. And it was difficult to change immediately. Du Yuyan held Li Luochun's head, patted his back, and said gently, Okay, didn't they say those were damned corrupted soul masters? If you don't kill them, they will kill you. It's okay. Li Luochun was a little sleepy at this point, and fell asleep in Du Yuyan's arms. He had been vigilant in the Slaughter City, not daring to let his guard down for a moment. Now, finding peace of mind with Du Yuyan, he fell into deep sleep. Alice, I always thought you were precocious, but I didn't expect you could be this vulnerable and sentimental. It seems that damn place has had a profound impact on you. Go to sleep, and everything will heal. Du Yuyan stroked Li Luochun's cheek. She couldn't believe how he'd managed to stay in that damn place. But now, there was no need to worry about that. Having Li Luochun back was the best thing. Li Luochun fell asleep, dreaming of many happy things, all of which happened before he went to the slaughter city. His dreams were relaxing and joyful, and he slept soundly. He didn't wake up until the afternoon of the next day. Li Luochun's eyes were no longer as fragile and uncertain as they had been the day before. Sleep had helped him adjust to his optimal mood. This relaxation had calmed his murderous aura, ready to be released at any moment. This is how I feel, no matter how bad my mood or emotions, a good night's sleep will heal them. Upon waking, I'll feel less nauseous. Li Luochun stood up and walked out. His sleep had cleared his mind, and the murderous aura within him had been contained. With 3 months of quiet and steady recuperation, he should be almost fully recovered, a far better outcome than the 6 months he had originally planned. Li Luochun arrived in the living room. Du Gubo had already returned, and Du Yuyan was sitting on one side. Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenqin stood there, waiting for something. When Li Luochun arrived, everyone's eyes turned to him. I'm glad you're okay, just back. Du Gubo was about to offer a scolding and teasing, but instead, he only said, I'm glad you're back. As expected, a single word of I'm glad you're back couldn't compare to 1,000 words. Well, I'm back, Grandpa. I wonder if you recognize these two? They're my subordinates I rescued from the slaughter city. They have good cultivation and are relatively young, so I brought them back. Li Luochun spoke briefly explaining the origins of Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenqin. Well, I know them. I've seen them before. They're both in their 40s, with soul powers above Soul Sage. One of them has even reached the 80th level bottleneck. You have good taste. They have decent cultivation. Du Gubo had already seen these two. As for the rebellion? Haha, they couldn't pull any tricks in front of Du Gubo. Besides, the two had already taken a deadly poison, and without the antidote, they would surely die. Li Luochun then chatted with Du Gubo about family matters, discussing events in the slaughter city and their upcoming plans. Li Luochun wanted to completely suppress his murderous aura here, a process he'd call cleansing himself in the Haoshan sect parlance. However, Li Luochun didn't go as far as they did, learning etiquette and musical instruments. The latest novel is available on the 69th book bar. Li Luochun didn't need to go to Yuxuan. He could stay home alone, chatting with Du Yuyan, drawing, practicing calligraphy, and practicing Tai Chi to calm himself. He didn't need to learn aristocratic etiquette. He wasn't a nobleman, so why would he learn aristocratic etiquette? He didn't like the rules and regulations of aristocrats, he simply wanted to be free and unrestrained. As for musical instruments, Li Luochun can play the piano, but there aren't any pianos in this world. He learned this through a hobby class in his previous life, and he even has a certificate. Li Luochun doesn't need to leave the house to regulate himself and curb his murderous aura. Let's set the stage here. After killing so many people, there must be something wrong with his mind, a disregard for life and apathy in all aspects. But why did he become fragile? It's a bit like a second war phobia, a fear and self-doubt. Simply put, his Dao heart is somewhat damaged, and excessive rigidity can easily break him, so he needs an emotional release. Li Luochun is an ordinary person after all. He has killed more people in a year and a half than he knew in 2 lifetimes combined, so I think it's normal for him to suddenly feel fear. Chapter 83 Talking about Things. First, I wish all high school seniors good results on the Gaokao, National College Entrance Examination, and academic success. Seriously, I've been feeling a bit off lately, so I haven't updated much. Please forgive me, readers. I'm mainly unsure how to write this story. I'm not sure what to write about, so I'm not sure what to write about. I've considered 2 paths. Li Luochun is currently 15.5 years old and will spend 6 months in Xiandao City, fully integrating the God of Killing's domain and his murderous aura. Around 16, he'll return to Shrek Academy. There are still 2 years before Tang San arrives. Should I write about Li Luochun's solo travels during these 2 years, or should I skip directly to Tang San arriving at Shrek Academy to torment Tang San and Gangzi? There's a lot I could write about in terms of travels, like Dai Xiangxing's family and his brother. Bringing them all to Shrek would then introduce some of the avatars of fellow readers. I'm thinking of a story about a fellow reader, including one titled Douluo 8 soul Daluos, and 2 soul sages. Something like that. Soul Daluos are all around 40 years old, with a uniformly innate soul power above level 9. Why, I wonder, is Tang San's generation so formidable? Aren't the older generations formidable? Anyway, the characters I have created as fan avatars are all incredibly talented. How so? They're on par with Oscar, who didn't eat the 8-petaled immortal orchid. They're more talented than people like Daimyo. Their martial spirits are all excellent, all top tier. As for why they were soul Daluos, it's because the talented title Daluos have been eclipsed by Jin Daoliu. Jin Daoliu, the Judgment Elder, isn't just there for nothing, so soul Daluos make more sense. These fan characters are all tough, and I've already given one of them a role specifically designed to bully Tang San and Gangzi. That's about it. Next comes the familiar voting moderation. Those who want to see Li Luochen's journey deduct 1 point, and those who want to skip straight to Tang San deduct 2 points. As for Li Luochen, he won't bully Tang San. There's no need. A jerk isn't enough for him to deal with. Li Luochen is more interested in Tang Hao's fully equipped soul bones, and Tang Hao poses a greater threat than Tang San. Gangzi is a clown, and the book friends will slowly ravage them. The book friends characters all have the strength to fight against Snake Spear Douluo and Thorny Porpoise Douluo with his soul Douluo cultivation. Snake Spear Douluo has become our master Xianjiao quality inspector, Hehe. Chapter 84 Meeting the Crown Prince. Over the next few days, Li Luochen recuperated at home. During this time, the Crown Prince had approached him, but he was in seclusion, so Butler Wang declined. Li Luochen knew that it was the little angel who wanted to see him. This unfortunate little angel, who had a powerful background but didn't choose it? I really don't know what he was thinking, as Tang San had turned the tables on him. Li Luochen asked Butler Wang to tell him to go to the Crown Prince's mansion in 3 days to meet His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. He had to go see his immediate superior. These past few days, Douluo took Dai Xiangxing to the Sunset Forest to hunt souls. This was Li Luochen's request for Douluo to go, and Li Luochen gave Douluo the inner core of the 10-headed fiery sun snake. At first, Douluo's hair stood on end when he saw the inner core. He felt as if he was being suppressed, but he also had a desire to swallow it. Grandpa, this is my harvest from the slaughter city. It's the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun serpent, a prehistoric beast and the supreme serpent. This 10-headed fiery sun serpent is incredibly venomous, and since you're into poison, it could enhance your poison. It also has a chance of evolving your spirit. Take it, Grandpa. Remember to consume it at the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. The 10-headed fiery sun serpent's strongest poison is fire, so be careful. But with your super Douluo level, it shouldn't be a problem. Li Luochen handed the golden red sphere to Douluo. Douluo took it and examined it confidently. It was quite interesting that this inner elixir could inspire fear in a serpent king. He then put it away and left with Dai Xiangxing to hunt souls. Their target this time was the white-eyed demonic tiger king of Sunset Forest. Li Luochen coveted this 70,000-year-old white-eyed demonic tiger king, as he remembered clearly that it would explode a piece of its right arm bone. This was later acquired by Tang San and given to Daimyo. However, Li Luochen disliked irresponsible men like Daimyo, so the white-eyed demonic tiger king had to disappear. Who made it produce spirit bones? You can only blame your superiority. It's perfect for Dai Xiangxing. Dai Xiangxing has been at level 80 for over a year, accumulating his spirit power. This time, he'll have a major burst, perhaps becoming a powerful soul Douluo. The unique environment of Slaughter City doesn't hinder the accumulation of spirit power, but Dai Xiangxing, now that he's out of the Slaughter City, must quickly acquire spirit rings, otherwise, accumulating spirit power for too long will damage his meridians. Dai Xiangxing now has his own domain. Acquiring the white-eyed demonic tiger king's spirit rings and spirit bones might strengthen him even more. Such a powerful being would be truly interesting to subdue. After all, Dai Xiangxing owed Li Luochen his life. About 5 days later, Dai Xiangxing returned alone. Douluo hadn't returned, having gone into seclusion. Only Li Luochen and Du Yuyan knew of Douluo's retreat. However, the problem wasn't serious. No one would attempt to harm Li Luochen for now. Furthermore, the Douluo mansion's combat prowess was formidable. Li Luochen and Du Yuyan were capable of powerful spirit fusion techniques. Steward Wang had also ascended to the rank of Soul Sage in recent years, as Idlin Shenken. With Dai Xiangxing, a soul Douluo, around, Unless he was a super Douluo above level 96, there wouldn't be much of a problem. According to Dai Xiangxing, his 8th spirit ring, the white-eyed demonic Tiger King, had somehow evolved from 70,000 years to 80,000 years. At the time, Douluo believed the white-eyed demonic Tiger King had ingested rare treasures to enhance its cultivation. Dai Xiangxing's spirit power level was finally revealed, level 84, a jump of 4 levels. This was normal, considering he had been a soul Douluo for over a year without any spirit rings. He had obtained a head spirit bone, and then the white-eyed demonic Tiger King dropped a right arm bone. Dai Xiangxing had originally brought it back for Li Luochen, but Li Luochen refused to allow him to absorb it, ultimately reaching level 84. Dai Xiangxing's 8th soul skill, White Eyes Hurricane Fist, is an extremely powerful single-target attack. When his eyes turn white, a layer of azure light engulfs his entire body, significantly increasing his movement speed. The light then converges and unleashes a hurricane-rising dragon fist with his right hand. The White Eyes Demonic Tiger King's right arm soul bone skill, Tiger Roaring in the Forest, is an area of effect skill that also enhances the right arm's attack power. While in Tiger Roaring in the Forest, the power of White Eyes Hurricane Fist is increased by 200%. This attack is enough to rival the 9th soul skill of an ordinary title Douluo. With this incredibly powerful soul Douluo at his side, there's nothing to fear. Dai Xiangxing's current combat prowess is more than enough to hold off a title Douluo, and Li Luochen no longer needs to worry about Douluo's safety in his absence. With soul skills, Dai Xiangxing's strength is far superior to that of an ordinary soul Douluo. He has won 57 consecutive matches in the killing fields without any soul skills, arguably ranking second during Li Luochen's time. His combat prowess is truly exceptional. Li Luochen believed Dai Xiangxing could easily hold off either of the two title Douluo, Snake Spear and Thorny Porpoise. Li Luochen already knew Dai Xiangxing had a chance, as he possessed 2 spirit bones, a 40,000-year-old left arm bone and a 35,000-year-old left leg bone. According to Dai Xiangxing, the left arm bone was dropped when he obtained his 7th spirit ring, while the left leg bone was a relic of his father. His father was a Star Luo general, possessing immense spiritual power. If not for the severe injuries sustained in his early years, he would have likely achieved title Douluo status. Therefore, the old Star Luo emperor gifted his father with 1 spirit bone, in addition to his father's own. These 2 spirit bones fell after their father's death, and Dai Xiangxing's mother instructed the 2 brothers to absorb them. Dai Xiangxing absorbed the left leg bone, while his brother, Dai Xiangnian, absorbed the right. Now, Dai Xiangxing has acquired 2 more spirit bones, a 40,000-year-old Vajra Demon Tiger Head spirit bone, obtained by Li Luochen in the Hell Killing Fields, and an 80,000-year-old White-Eyed Demon Tiger King right arm bone. Dai Xiangxing possessed 4 soul bones, the same number as Li Luochen. A few years earlier, Li Luochen would have coveted the White-Eyed Demonic Tiger King's soul bone. After all, it was a strength-type soul bone with a very high age. Even if he didn't use it himself, he could have given it to Du Yuyan and his grandfather, Li Yusong. Now, Li Luochen's standards had become higher. He really wouldn't absorb a soul bone until it was less than 100,000 years old. Du Yuyan was the same. With such talent, why wouldn't she acquire a set of 100,000-year-old soul bones? Would she be worthy of her status as a favored one? As for Li Luochen's grandfather, Li Yusong, Li Luochen was considering giving him a complete set of soul bones. He needed strength-type sub-dragon soul bones at least 50,000 years old. Only then could Li Yusong reach the titled realm, and Li Luochen had plenty of time to collect them. Now that Dai Xiangxing had returned, he planned to take him to the Crown Prince's residence to see his immediate superior, the Little Angel. She had called him several times, and it would be rude not to go. The latest novel is being released on the 69th Book Forum, and Li Luochen wants to take advantage of the Little Angel. She doesn't need any other spirit bones anyway, she already has her own angel set. Li Luochen suspects that the worshippers in the worship hall, except for his 2 masters, are almost fully stocked with spirit bones. In his spare time, Li Luochen asked the 2 masters about their spirit bones. Zhang Mo, the carefree fellow, revealed his own. Zhang Mo has 4, Jin Jun has 5. The Grand Worshipper Jin Daoliu once gifted the 2 masters 2 spirit bones each to celebrate their breakthroughs to title Douluo status, making the worship hall incredibly wealthy. Li Luochen suspects that Golden Crocodile Douluo is fully stocked with spirit bones, including a 100,000-year-old spirit bone. Azurluan Douluo and Lion Douluo are also likely fully stocked, and Guangling Douluo probably has at least 4. At their level, their vision is extremely high. They will only absorb soul bones that are of the right age and suitable for them. The Hall of Worship has been established for so long, and who knows how many soul bones there are. Jin Daoliu's treasury is so rich, I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't explore it. As for how to explore it, we'll have to rely on our little angels. The fake rich second-generation daughter, Ningrongrong. The real rich second-generation daughter, Jin Rixu. Chapter 85 The Prince. Li Luochen brought Dai Xiangxing to the Crown Prince's residence. While he didn't know why Jin Rixu had sought him out at this time, he could guess. She simply wanted to meet with her subordinates, intimidate them, and then offer a promise followed by a sweet treat. Li Luochen was incredibly familiar with this. Another possibility was that Li Luochen's own rapid advancement was causing Jin Rixu to feel a sense of urgency. Li Luochen was now 15 and a half, while Jin Rixu was about 4 years older, meaning she was 19. Jin Rixu's original timeline was revealed when she was around 30, when she was a soul sage. Given the time difference, she's probably around soul emperor now. Alice, she clearly has incredible talent, but she's wasting it on political maneuvers. And crucially, her political tactics are flawed. I really don't know what this little angel is thinking. Since I'm barely your subordinate, I'll be merciful and offer a few pointers to prevent you from falling for someone you don't like later. Falling for someone you don't like out of nowhere with no real emotional connection is truly remarkable. Is love crazy hereditary? Isn't her mother the most outrageous love-crazy person in Douluo Continent? Tisk, 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 it just comes from the roots. Please inform His Royal Highness the Crown Prince that Li Luochen of the Douluo Mansion is here to pay his respects, Li Luochen said to the guard at the Crown Prince's residence. Yes, please wait a moment, the guard tactfully went to report. No one dared to challenge the authority of the royal family. And it was indeed true that His Royal Highness had been wanting to have a conversation with a man named Li Luochen. Not long after, an elderly man emerged. He was in his 80s, over 2 meters tall. His lanky figure was as straight and sharp as a javelin, and he exuded the aura of a soul Douluo. His Royal Highness invites you, young Master Li, to the main hall for a conversation, the old man said calmly. Li Luochen guessed this was Snakespear Douluo, one of Jin Rixu's guards. As for why it wasn't a thorny porpoise Douluo, thorny porpoises were supposed to be quite large, and they didn't have a sharp aura. Dai Xiangxing could sense a hint of danger in the old man before him, but since Li Luochen didn't say anything, he didn't warn him. He figured if he could see it, Li Luochen would surely see it too. A moment later, Snakespear Douluo brought Li Luochen to the reception room of the Crown Prince's mansion. Li Luochen entered alone, while Dai Xiangxing and Snakespear Douluo waited outside. Meanwhile, Jin Rixu, no, that should be Zhu King, sat in the main seat, looking at Li Luochen with a gentle expression. She looked about 20 years old, handsome, with a straight nose and square mouth. She wore a clean, blue robe, giving her a refreshing air. Her long, slender black hair was tied back neatly with a blue ribbon. Although his attire was ordinary, he possessed a unique aura. It's truly not easy to meet Brother Li. I've long cherished a deep affection for a young talent like you. Someone, bring tea. Zhu King's cold words left Li Luochen speechless. Brother, no, sister, are you trying to be awkward with me? Without further ado, the servants served tea and departed. Jin Rixu dismissed everyone, leaving only Zhu King and Li Luochen alone in the room. Li Luochen could sense through his psychic sense that the room was now enshrouded in spirit power. In other words, one of the 2 Snakespear Douluo and Thorny Porpoise Douluo outside had shielded the room, preventing anyone from eavesdropping on their conversation. Ahem, young master, isn't it time to get down to business? Li Luochen spoke first, cutting to the chase and avoiding any pretense. What do you mean, Brother Li? Jin Rixu frowned. She felt her identity hadn't been revealed to anyone, and only a few knew of it. Could it be that the woman had told him? Young master, you and your subordinates are so needless, aren't you? Oh, right. Your identity wasn't revealed to me, I guessed it. I could tell from Master Kyanjin that the young master was on some secret mission, and it must have been someone who had seen me before. After much reflection, I can only imagine that sect Master Ning of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince had seen me before. To have someone of the young master's stature come to Xiandao on a secret mission, I'm going to hazard a guess, could it be for the entire Xiandao Empire? I'm assuming the young master is a member of the royal family. Furthermore, several years ago, 2 princes died suddenly, the 4th Prince Zubang began to live a dissolute life, and not long ago, you became the crown prince and took charge of government. That's why I guessed you were the young master. Li Luochun's words astounded Jin Rongsu. He had guessed her purpose and identity with just a few clues. She had a new appreciation for Li Luochun. Not only was he gifted, but he was also incredibly intelligent. She must seize such a talent. Li Luochun's deception had Jin Rongsu completely bewildered. He couldn't possibly claim to know everything about her, except her measurements and menstrual period. Jin Rongsu didn't want to bother with such pretense anymore and immediately deactivated the angel spirit bone's disguise ability. The man's appearance transformed into a woman, looking about 18 or 19 years old, with skin as white as snow, a straight nose, slightly slender phoenix eyes, and a strikingly majestic face. She wore a one-piece golden palace dress, seemingly woven from gold thread. Without excessive ornamentation, it was simple yet elegant. A golden stand-up collar framed her slender, snow-white neck. Her long golden hair flowed carelessly down her back, uncombed. It formed a stark contrast to her neatly dressed palace attire. Li Luochun observed Jin Rongsu, marveling at her beauty. It rivaled her mother's, perhaps even surpassing hers, and even surpassed Du Yuan by a hair's breadth. But being stunning is just stunning, nothing more. This woman was quite miserable in the original timeline, but with Li Luochun, the butterfly, it seems things will change significantly. How much that will change is a matter of time. Their relationship will no longer be simply that of superior and subordinate. The latest novel is released on the 6th book bar. Subordinate Li Luochun greets the young master. Li Luochun stood up, clasping his hands and bowing slightly, showing a little respect to this little angel to avoid making things difficult for him. HMPH. Get up. We don't have so many rules here. Sit wherever you want. Jin Rongsu's pleasant voice rang out. Li Luochun, I've been observing you for a long time, ever since your first conflict with Du Yuan. Later. It was me who wrote the letter declaring the 6th honored one your master. I just didn't expect your promotion to be so fast. It's more than just the immortal grass, right? Forget it. If you don't want to talk, I won't force you. Everyone has secrets. As long as you don't harm the spirit hall's interests, that's fine. Jin Rongsu tactfully skipped the subject. She was quite knowledgeable about the art of controlling subordinates. Not letting those under her control feel uncomfortable was a must for those in power. I understand. I won't harm the spirit hall's interests. If the spirit hall could unify the continent, that would be a good thing, Li Luochun said bluntly. Truly, the 2 empires were truly utterly incompetent, leaving the spirit hall like a taller man among smaller men. Chapter 86 about yesterday's incident. Didn't I mention yesterday whether Li Luochun should travel for 2 years or skip the whole thing altogether? I looked and saw that more people wanted to travel, so I'll focus on the travel part next. It'll probably be a few dozen chapters, covering the entire Douluo Continent. I've been working on the outline these past few days, so I won't be updating much these days, maybe 1 or 2 chapters a day, but I'll keep updating. Yesterday, I sorted through the book friend characters. There are quite a lot, over a dozen, which really took my brain cells out. Since all my book friend characters are geniuses, each one has spirit bones. Some have 5, some have only 1. Generally, they have 2, like Dai Xiangxing, who comes with 2. However, the quality of the spirit bones isn't necessarily high. Those over 50,000 years old usually have 1, while the rest are mostly under 50,000 years old. After all, Tang Hao, with the exception of his 2 inherited spirit bones, was able to fully equip his spirit bones before level 90. It makes sense that these book friend characters wouldn't have any, so I included them all. As for why veteran Super Douluo characters like Lao Long, Jian Douluo, Gu Douluo, and Zhu Yui Douluo don't have many soul bones, I personally think their martial spirits are unique, so fewer soul bones are compatible with them. Furthermore, since they're all level 95 and above, there's no need to absorb soul bones less than 50,000 years old. Well, that's about it. The author has been a bit tired these past few days, so I haven't been writing much. I used to write about 4 chapters a day, but these past 2 days it's been 1 chapter a day. I've hit a bit of a creative bottleneck, so I'll adjust. Once I finish revising the outline, I can write faster. I've been trying to decide whether to focus on the travel story or the main plot, so I've been procrastinating. Chapter 87, Advice to Jin Ringsu. The two empires and their nobles were truly disgusting. While the Spirit Hall had its share of corrupt officials, it seemed the two empires had more corrupt officials, and they were constantly fighting. If the Spirit Hall hadn't stopped them, they would have been incessant. Oh? Really? Jin Ringsu hadn't expected Li Luochen to view the Spirit Hall in this way, and her resolve to unify the continent had solidified. But young master, there are some corrupt officials in the Spirit Hall as well. You should thoroughly investigate. Some are using the Spirit Hall's backing to bully men and women, which is damaging the Spirit Hall's very foundation. Li Luochen still decided to lend a hand to the Spirit Hall. After all, he had already sided with them. There was no other way. The help from his two masters, Qianzhen and Jiangmo, was truly immense. He could repay them. What? You're actually saying that? Fine. Leave it to me. These people are tired of living. Jin Ringsu's anger was understandable. Her angel clan founded the Spirit Hall to protect the common people of the continent. While time had passed and some individuals had changed, Jin Ringsu, as a descendant of the angel god, had always adhered to the angel god's ancestral teachings. What she despised most were those who exploited the common people. Even when she was undercover in the Xiandao Empire, she didn't oppress the people, but did everything she could to help them live a better life. It's good that you think this way. By the way, young master, there are actually some flaws in your undercover work that will arouse suspicion. I wonder if you would like to correct them. Jin Ringsu was also stunned by Li Luochen's words. She considered herself to be flawless in everything she did. No one in the Xiandao imperial family knew her identity. She had studied Zuking for a long time, and her behavior was flawless. How could there be any flaws? Tell me about it. It's like this. Although you have done everything very well and are very serious about government affairs, and you have done everything a prince can do very well, it is precisely because you do it too well that people are suspicious. For example, you are not married, and you don't even have any scandals. As a prince, this is very important. The prince is destined to inherit the throne. The royal family attaches importance to inheritance and will not want a prince without children. Simply put, the position of a prince can be stable only if he has children. Otherwise, if there are no scandals, what if the prince has an affair in the future? Will the emperor pass the throne to you? As for children, I believe that you can easily do it with your means. Secondly, you killed the two princes with poison, and the time was close. The two extremely talented princes died suddenly. It goes without saying who the final beneficiary is. But it's not a big problem. As for the fight for the throne, Zhengluo next door has already raised the third. You've underestimated Prince Zuxing and Zubang. Zubang has been feigning affluence, aiming to deliver a fatal blow. They're secretly accumulating strength. Young master, you should first secure a crown prince, solidifying his position, and then slowly chip away at the might of the Xiandao army. The emergence of a crown prince will reassure the emperor. At least he'll have a successor, allowing him to confidently delegate power to you. This will give you ample time to infiltrate the Xiandao army. Ideally even the royal soul master knights, effectively sidelining the emperor. Even if you usurp the throne, what's the harm? It's easy for a crown prince to usurp the throne without the emperor's power. Simply appoint him as the retired emperor. Competition for the throne is fierce, and no one will say anything. Just kill the ministers who dare to speak out. We don't need such disobedient minions. Making an example of someone is always effective. Those who reach high positions are intelligent. Even if they're not afraid, they still have families to worry about. Also, I suggest you tie the 7 treasures glazed tile sect to the warship. Ning Fengzi is just a businessman who wants to gain benefits but doesn't want to offend anyone. It's best to act quickly when such a person is wavering. Either destroy him or drag him on board the pirate ship. Li Luochen's series of suggestions made Jin Ringsu's scalp tingle. She had thought she could make it perfect, but it turned out to be too easy. This time she would have to replan her route. Thank you very much. Tell me what benefits you want. Wealth? Resources? Soul bones? I can give you all of them. Jin Ringsu directly threw out the price, because these suggestions were too important to her. Haha, young master, there's no need to rush. Save it for next time. I don't need it right now. Besides, I'll be returning to Soto City soon, so my next visit won't be for a few years. I hope to see you next time. You've already achieved amazing results. Maybe I'll need you to ask for something next time. I hope you won't be stingy. Okay, I'll take my leave. Li Yusong stood up, bowed to Jin Rongsu, and left. Jin Rongsu then transformed back into Zhu King, pondering her next plan. At the door, Dai Xiangxing leaned against a tree, his eyes closed. Noticing Li Yusong's arrival, he stood up and followed him back. At that moment, Snake Spear Douluo and Thorny Porpoise Douluo both heard Jin Rongsu's call and entered the house. Not long after, Snake Spear Douluo quickly left the Crown Prince's mansion, concealing himself and heading for the Spirit Hall. Li Yusong brought Dai Xiangxing back to the Douluo mansion. He needed to recuperate for a while. His murderous aura hadn't been completely suppressed, so he planned to spend a week controlling it, and then several months mastering its use. Sunset Forest, yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. Douluo sat quietly by the pond. The yin-yang eyes had regained some vitality. He had taken too many immortal herbs last time, along with a number of rare treasures, leaving them somewhat bald. Douluo had been tending to them for the past 2 years. The immortal herbs were starting to grow again, but they would take years to mature. Currently, the only immortal herbs remaining in the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire were the Kilo tulip, the 8-angled sunflower, the snow-colored swan's kiss, the netherworld ghost flower, and the 9th-rank immortal lotus. Douluo now understood the benefits of various immortal herbs and had specially relocated them to the most suitable habitat for rapid growth. Since his detoxification, Douluo's favorite occupation was gardening in the herb garden. The latest novel is being published on the 69th Book Forum. I didn't recognize them before. I knew they were rare treasures, but I didn't dare touch them. Now that I know them all, cultivating them has its own unique charm. However, Douluo isn't here to collect herbs. He already sorted them out. He wants to utilize the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire to ingest the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake, given to him by Li Yusong. He feels uncomfortable just touching the inner elixir, yet he feels the urge to devour it. His jade phosphorus snake king is already the king of snakes. Swallowing the earth dragon golden gourd strengthened his dragon blood, reaching a new level. But now, a single inner elixir can cause him discomfort, a truly baffling thought. However, Li Yusong told him that the 10-headed fiery sun snake is a prehistoric beast, the supreme of snakes, possessing an unparalleled venom, particularly fire poison. Douluo, a prehistoric beast, didn't understand what it meant, but he did understand the snake supreme. Rumor has it that the dragon clan also has a supreme being known as the Dragon King. A true dragon would be crushed to death if it encountered the Dragon King. It's not hard to imagine what would happen after swallowing this inner elixir. Douluo then pulled out the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun serpent from his soul storage device. The golden red inner elixir was the size of a fist, with the markings of the 10-headed fiery sun serpent etched across its center. With a determined heart, Douluo swallowed it. 1 chapter will be updated today and tomorrow, resuming 2 chapters daily the day after tomorrow. Chapter 88 Douluo's 100,000-year spirit ring. Douluo swallowed the inner elixir of the 10-headed fiery sun snake. In an instant, his body felt as if it were on fire. Douluo's martial spirit automatically possessed him, and his golden scales continuously transformed. Douluo activated the Zhou-Tianwu Jigong, absorbing the inner elixir's energy into his body. While the inner elixir's energy was violent, Douluo, a level 95 super Douluo, possessed a different physique. A title Douluo's life force was no longer considered human, so the ferocious energy didn't damage Douluo's meridians or internal organs. Douluo closed his eyes, slowly activating the Zhou-Tianwu Jigong to absorb the inner elixir's power. Simultaneously, his martial spirit also transformed. The golden phosphorus snake king, whose golden scales originally had a dragon head, now had a dragon head, though its horns remained, a pair resembling a crown. The scales all over its body also turned a brilliant red. Most surprising of all, the snake had 9 heads, the center one the largest, with the other 8, similar in size, hidden behind it. The snake's scales grew thicker, even covering its most vulnerable belly with armor, significantly boosting its defense. Due to his spirit-possessed state, Douluo's spirit rings began to appear. The most common title Douluo configuration, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black. But Douluo's final spirit ring, the 9th and outermost, changed. The previously deep black began to feature red streaks. What did this indicate? Only spirit rings produced by 90,000-year-old spirit beasts, nearing 100,000 years old, are black-red. The more red, the closer to 100,000 years old. A completely red spirit ring, with no trace of black, is a 100,000-year-old spirit ring. A 100,000-year-old spirit ring is a true treasure for a spirit master. Only possessing a 100,000-year-old spirit ring allows one to ascend to level 98, thus breaking through the previous limit and ascending to level 99, a limit Douluo. Recall that Tang Chen, possessing 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black, and 1 red spirit ring, achieved limit Douluo status and was known as the strongest on land due to his overwhelming strength. Douluo's 9th spirit ring was also undergoing a transformation, with more and more red lines appearing, indicating that its age was approaching 100,000 years. However, it was also true that the 10-headed fiery sun snake's inner elixir originally belonged to Ma Hongjin's 7th spirit ring. While the inner elixir could produce spirit rings, Douluo already had his full arsenal of spirit rings, so naturally, it couldn't become one. All the spirit ring energy contained within the inner elixir entered Douluo's 9th spirit ring, increasing its age. Soon, Douluo's 9th spirit ring turned blood red, without a trace of black, indicating that it had fully transformed into a 100,000-year spirit ring. The transformation a 100,000-year spirit ring can bring to a spirit master is far greater than that of a 10,000-year spirit ring. Even 99,999 years is still a significant difference from 100,000 years. The inner elixir's energy wasn't exhausted yet. Douluo suddenly remembered the soul core method Li Luochen had mentioned, using a poison elixir as a core to condense a spirit core. Now that he had the inner elixir's energy, Douluo decided to attempt to condense a soul core. At this moment, the poison pill within Douluo's body shattered, though it did not injure him. Instead, the shattered pill formed a vortex of soul power. This vortex began to gather Douluo's soul power, and the poison within him also began to converge towards it, attempting to condense a mixed poison soul core. Douluo possessed the poison of the azure phosphorus serpent king, the infinite toxic python, the mandragora serpent king, the sea viper, the corrosive poison, the 10-headed fiery sun serpent, and the fire poison. The soul power vortex directly condensed these toxins. A soul core formed, condensing in his middle dimension. A 7-colored soul core, infused with 7 types of deadly poisons, was formed. With the completion of the 7-colored mixed poison soul core, Douluo's poison skills reached a new level. Simultaneously, Douluo's martial soul also underwent a transformation, transforming into 9-headed Snake King, a brand new snake-type martial soul. Douluo opened his eyes and sensed the changes within himself. His soul power level had risen from peak level 95 to peak level 96, with level 97 just around the corner. Condensing a 7-colored, poisonous soul core was one of his greatest achievements. Douluo also achieved the 9th level of this Haoshan Wuji Guang, achieving unity between man and nature. Douluo's martial soul also evolved, and his spirit rings upgraded, doubling his joy. Ha 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 ha, this time I've defied the will of heaven and changed my fate. I didn't expect even my 9th spirit ring to transform into a 100,000-year-old spirit ring, a true 100,000-year spirit ring, with 2 spirit skills. Douluo was incredibly happy. He hadn't expected this inner elixir to bring him so many benefits, and he felt that all 9 of his spirit skills had undergone changes. Douluo's martial soul possessed a brand new, supreme snake spirit, the 9-headed heavenly serpent king. 9 of the best and most extreme titled Douluo spirit rings, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 and red, were in his body. His first spirit skill, Serpent King Poison Breath, released a variety of highly toxic auras, each with its own unique toxicity and effects, capable of rapidly weakening an enemy's defenses and strength. Second soul skill, Snake Shadows, instantly emanates 9 snake shadows, besieging and disrupting the enemy. Each snake shadow possesses powerful attack power. Third soul skill, Poisonous Bewilderment, the 9-headed heavenly snake king spirit emits a colorful poisonous mist to confuse the enemy. Upon inhaling the mist, the enemy's senses decrease by 30% and all attributes decrease by 10%. Fourth soul skill, Hydra Roar, unleashes a deafening roar that scatters the enemy's soul power while also causing a significant mental shock. Fifth soul skill, Snake King Guard, the latest novel is released on the 6th book forum. Releases a Snake King domain shield centered on the body, significantly increasing defense and increasing in strength as soul power increases. Sixth soul skill, Snake King Domain, unleashes a snake king domain centered on the body, amplifying the power of all snake spirits within while weakening the enemy's abilities. 7th soul skill, 9-headed heavenly serpent true form. In its true form, the 9 heads become even larger and more ferocious, their strength and speed reaching peak levels, and all attributes increased by 200%. 8th soul skill, time solidification. The spirit transforms into an energy shield against the enemy, temporarily confining time and space. Simultaneously, it releases a powerful toxin, creating a devastating field of control. 9th soul skill part 1, heavenly serpent's world destroying divine light. This 9th soul skill's first soul skill, the 9 heads simultaneously unleash their most powerful soul power and toxins, forming a divine light capable of annihilating everything, inflicting fatal damage. 9th soul skill part 2, Snake King's sky splitting. This 9th soul skill's second soul skill, the snakeheads in their spirit form unleash a powerful beam of toxic soul power. This beam possesses immense penetrating and destructive power, capable of instantly ripping through the air and inflicting immense damage. Douluo's 9 soul skills have all been enhanced, and he has condensed his soul core, significantly increasing his endurance and poison power. At the 9th level of this Haoshan Wuji Guang, the Heaven Man Unity Realm, Douluo, at the peak of level 96, can defeat even those at level 97. Moreover, thanks to a breakthrough in his cultivation technique, Douluo already sees the path to level 97. He only needs 2 years to reach that level. Meanwhile, the tremendous increase in his 100,000-year spirit ring has significantly boosted Douluo's physique, greatly reducing the difficulty of advancing to level 98. As long as he reaches the maximum level of 97, he can break through to level 98 without any bottlenecks. However, level 99 presents a hurdle, stumping countless experts. Douluo remains uncertain. As his spirit power level rises, he realizes the difficulty of advancement. Sword Douluo, Bone Douluo, Thunder Douluo, Chrysanthemum Douluo, and Ghost Douluo have all been stuck at this bottleneck for years, facing the immense difficulty of achieving the next step. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89 Preparing to Return to Shrek. No one knew of Douluo's transformation. No one would believe that a single inner elixir could allow it titled Douluo's 9th spirit ring to evolve to the 100,000-year level. The power of a 100,000-year spirit ring is comparable to that of immortal herbs, which strengthen the foundation and strengthen the essence. A 100,000-year spirit ring can transform the body and possess 2 powerful spirit skills. In terms of combat effectiveness, a 100,000-year spirit ring far surpasses immortal herbs. Having consumed immortal herbs and now possessing a 100,000-year spirit ring, Douluo is arguably the continent's most powerful being. Only a handful of people could surpass him: Jin Dao Liu, Poseidon, Tang Chen, Bibi Dong, and Golden Crocodile. Tang Hao doesn't count, his injuries are too severe, and Douluo is now a natural counter to even a severely injured Tang Hao. Douluo gazed at the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. His greatest opportunity had already left this place. Arriving at the poison miasma, Douluo, seemingly overthinking things, unleashed his martial spirit, further strengthening the poison miasma. The more he learned about the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, the more he realized its immense wealth. As the saying goes, wealth should not be flaunted. Douluo decided to further protect this place, preventing those with ulterior motives from stealing the herbs. Douluo had recently laid a poisonous miasma, infused with his own 7-fold mixed poison. Unless one's ultimate ice reached the level of the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, they would be fatal. Furthermore, the corrosive poison could corrode any organic matter that could isolate the poison. This meant that any anti-poison armor he had manufactured was useless, unless it was a later generation battle armor, specifically a 4-character battle armor that was immune to the poison. Douluo returned to his residence, but encountered some mishaps along the way. Meanwhile, Li Luochen hadn't seen Dean Flanders for a long time. Douluo had heard that Dean Flanders was at Blue Tyrant Academy, so he went to see him. However, Douluo mentioned Dean Flanders with a strange smile, and Li Luochen paused, remembering that Dean Flanders and Liu Erlong's child was probably born. Before Li Luochen left, Liu Erlong's belly had already begun to swell slightly. Now, A year and a half had passed, and the child was supposed to be a year old, so it was time to visit. Not long after, Li Luochen and Du Yuyan arrived at Lanba Academy. The guard at Lanba Academy knew them both and, though he didn't know why Li Luochen hadn't been seen for so long, he probably went traveling, so he didn't say anything. Soon, Li Luochen arrived at Liu Erlong's cabin. At that moment, a baby girl was resting on Flanders' shoulders. Her innocent laughter filled the room, a child's laughter always warming the heart. Liu Erlong looked at the father and daughter with joy. A year earlier, Liu Erlong had given birth to a baby girl, her and Flanders' daughter, whom she named Liu Laner. The little girl inherited Liu Erlong's good looks. Although only 1 year old, she was adorable and was sure to be a beauty in the future. "Dean, I see I've come at a bad time," Li Luochen greeted with a smile. Flanders also looked over at this moment. Playing with his daughter, he hadn't noticed Li Luochen's arrival, and he was shocked to see him again. "Xiachen, you're back? Ho ha ho ho ha ho ha. Good. Old Li missed you terribly. Remember to go back and see him. Come on, Xiachen, this is your daughter, your mistress Erlong, and you can just call her Laner. Laner, this is your brother, Li Luochen. You can call him Brother Chen." Flanders introduced Li Luochen to his daughter. Liu Laner's big, sparkling eyes looked at Li Luochen and she called out crisply, "Brother Chen, hello, hey. Hello, Laner. Come on, Laner, this is a green jade necklace from my collection. It has the power to focus the mind. I'm giving it to you." Li Luochen pulled out a necklace made of green jade from his soul guide. It was a storage soul guide, and the jade had the power to focus the mind. The largest white bead was for storage, holding 10 cubic meters of space, making it a top-grade soul guide. Li Luochen is a bit of a treasure hunter. While not as obsessed with money as he is, he's almost there. More accurately, he's a treasure collector. However, as the daughter of Dean Flender and Liu Erlong, Li Luochen isn't stingy. Liu Laner is only a little over a year old now, but she could start building her foundation at 3. By utilizing the rare treasures of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, she has a high probability of achieving full innate soul power. Both Flender and Liu Erlong now possess top-tier martial spirits, so Liu Laner could inherit either one. Furthermore, building a foundation with rare treasures is unlikely to lead to a malignant mutation of the martial spirit. Li Luochen briefly discussed this with Flender and prepared to return to Shrek Academy. Flender mentioned a new student this year. Daimyu Bei, 12 years old, possesses the White Tiger martial spirit and a 9th level innate soul power. When he entered the academy, his soul power was at 25, and he should be around 28 now. However, Flender personally feels that this student's character is not good. He enjoys partying every night, and even after being reprimanded by Ma Hongjin, he refuses to change his ways and even attempts to corrupt Oscar and Ma Hongjin. However, Oscar and Ma Hongjin weren't in the mood to join Daimyu Bei at the brothel. Oscar was now 11 and a half, and Ma Hongjin was 9 and a half. Oscar had already reached the Soul Master level, while Ma Hongjin was stuck at level 29, expecting a breakthrough in about 6 months. Their progress through the Soul Master realm was accelerating, surprising Li Luochen. But then again, Oscar had already taken the 8-petal fairy orchid and was working hard to quickly ascend to the Soul King level and become a combat Soul Master. Ma Hongjin, swept up in Oscar's excitement, didn't dare relax. He didn't want to lose to a food-type Soul Master. He already knew the strength of his own martial spirit. The top-tier beast spirit, the Fire Phoenix, was only half a step away from becoming a super spirit. The latest novels are now available on the 6th-9th book bar. So he had no time to relax, leading to a war between the two of them, neither willing to yield. Daimyu Bei, initially confident in himself, was outmatched by Ma Hongjin, and later, single-handedly defeated by Oscar without using his spirit, further corrupting the Yinhu. Li Luochen, after listening to them, thought the two younger brothers were quite capable. He thought it would be a good time to go back and see them and help them plan their future. As for Tang San? Haha, whether he could defeat these two was a question. An awakened blue silver grass was ultimately a useless spirit. Poison-attributed spirit beasts couldn't replenish the blue silver grass's essence, preventing it from evolving. If he killed the blue silver king of the blue silver forest, he would never be able to evolve into the blue silver emperor. Hey, Li Luochen and Du Yuyan planned to return to Shrek Academy. First, they'd visit Grandpa, who must be incredibly worried after a year and a half away. Then, They'd spend 6 months recuperating in Soto City and traveling. Li Luochen's first target was the Xingluo Empire. After all, the Xingluo Empire was much larger than the Xiandao Empire, so he could go there for some fun. He knew that traveling thousands of miles was better than reading thousands of books. He would wait for Douluo to return before heading to Soto City. After all, Douluo was his only guardian, so nothing would go wrong with him around. Chapter 90 Return to Shrek, Provocation? After about 5 days, Douluo returned. Dai Xiangxing's intuition told him that Douluo had become even more unfathomable. Had he achieved another breakthrough? However, he didn't have the courage to ask for the secrets of a titled Douluo. That would be suicidal. He simply served as a guard. Douluo immediately dragged Li Luochen and Du Guyan to his training room and unleashed his spirit. A giant 9-headed snake emerged, its thick crimson scales stunning Li Luochen and Du Guyan. Even more outrageous was Douluo's spirit ring configuration: 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black, and 1 red, the ultimate title Douluo spirit ring configuration of the era. Du Guyan repeatedly wiped her eyes, believing she hadn't slept well. Li Luochen's mouth was so full he could have fit a bowl in it. He couldn't believe that a 10-headed fiery sun serpent's inner core could have transformed Douluo into this state. Ha, listen to me. That day when I absorbed the inner elixir. Yet, that's how my spirit evolved into the 9-headed heavenly serpent king. My 9th spirit ring metamorphosed to 100,000 years old, all my spirit abilities transformed, and my spirit power reached the peak of level 96. Douluo excitedly recounted his experience. After all, it was too bizarre. Could a title Douluo's spirit ring metamorphose? Besides the divine assessment, it required a top-level assessment to increase the age of a spirit ring. And this 10-headed fiery sun serpent's inner elixir actually had this effect? Li Luochen was no longer willing to say anything. He felt his luck was just so-so. Grandpa Douluo's luck was much better than his, but it wasn't a bad deal. Li Luochen felt that Douluo could now fight both Qianjin Jiangmo and Qianjin Jiangmo at the same time. The outcome was still uncertain. Douluo now had the credentials to truly reach the 99th level of Ultimate Douluo. Perhaps in 10 years, Douluo would undergo a qualitative transformation. Li Luochen wondered if he should trade a celestial herb and Jinringsu for a piece of top-grade torso bone. Douluo was only missing a torso bone. With his level of cultivation, he needed a torso bone that was at least 80,000 years old, preferably from a snake, which was very difficult to find. He didn't know if Jinringsu would trade with him, or if she'd covet the origin of the immortal grass. It was better to wait a little longer. This little angel had a lot on her mind, and who knew what she was thinking. By the way, Chenner, this is for you. Douluo pulled out a pink-white object from his soul guide and tossed it to Li Luochen. Li Luochen took it and took a look, realizing it was a soul bone. It was a head soul bone, at least 50,000 years old. What's this, Grandpa? Li Luochen asked. This is the 60,000-year-old three-eyed demon fox, the last overlord of Sunset Forest I know of. For some reason, it suddenly went mad and attacked me, killing me. It dropped a head soul bone. Yan, you, and I already have soul bones, so we don't need them anymore. Since you have brains, I'm giving it to you. Perhaps you can make the most of it. Douluo bluntly explained that the three-eyed demon fox's head soul bone is a charming skull, a symbol of concentrated spiritual energy, and is best used by charming-type soul masters. The spirit hall's Hulina seems most suitable on the mainland. She possesses a sky fox spirit, primarily focused on charming. This soul bone could be traded. But it seems Xiao Wu was supposed to have it, so it seems she's out of the picture. She's destined to become a soul ring. Blame it on her ignorance of the treacherous nature of human nature. Li Luochen is currently in the late 59th level, with at least 6 months left to reach Soul Emperor. Du Guyan is already at level 68, on the verge of soul sagehood. With her aptitude, she could easily achieve a 100,000-year 7th soul ring. Xiao Wu is a perfect choice. However, with Tang Hao's protection, things seemed a bit difficult, but it wasn't a big deal. They'd take it one step at a time. Leaving it to Jinringsu wasn't out of the question. She'd also gain a 100,000-year-old spirit bone, which grants teleportation and invincible golden body, 2 life-saving spirit abilities perfect for Li Luochen and Du Guyan. There was also a 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor right leg bone, also suited to Li Luochen and Du Guyan. These 2 spirit bones couldn't be left to Tang San. Later, They could take the vast sea universe cover and allow Dou Yan to pass the sea god's divine test. Then they'd see how Tang San rose. Li Luochen had already mapped out the path ahead, slowly cutting off Tang San's opportunities. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for having too much. Now that you can't hold on to it, that's your fault. A few days later, Li Luochen and the others headed for Soto City. Li Luochen wanted to visit his family, but Flanders didn't go. He now had a daughter and had handed over the academy to Zhao Wuji. He only needed to go back occasionally, spending most of his time in Xiandao City with his daughter and Liu Erlong. Li Luochen had written to Jin Ringsu in advance, telling her he was returning to Soto City for 6 months of seclusion, aiming to perfect his killing god realm. Do not disturb her. Seeing the words "do not disturb" nearly pissed her off, her 30-60 breasts threatening to burst. Li Luochen's words clearly displeased her, telling her to stop bothering him. This was the first time Jin Ringsu had been humiliated by this man. But she had no choice. Li Luochen's initial advice had truly helped her, and she was already starting to improve. She was sure to see results compared to 3 years ago. She had even decided to appoint Li Luochen as imperial master upon his successful conquest of the kingdom, but now she was livid. While this conceited little angel was fuming, Li Luochen had already made his way home, a few days later, at Shrek Academy. "Ah, long time no see. It's been 2 years since I've been here. I miss you." Li Luochen looked at the somewhat shabby school gate. It had been 2 years since he left Shrek Academy, heading to Xiandao City 6 months early and training in the Slaughter City for a year and a half. 2 whole years. A flood of emotion filled him. It was true that the feeling of home was truly wonderful. Although the academy had its upsides, Li Luochen deeply enjoyed the quiet atmosphere here, a sense of tranquility and far-reaching tranquility. Wow! There's actually such a beauty out there. Are you interested in spending the night with me? The latest novel is being released on the 69th book bar. A loud voice shattered the atmosphere. A man, about 1.8 meters tall, broad-shouldered, had a handsome face with a hint of fortitude. His long golden hair flowed down his back, reaching nearly waist length. His eyes were sinister, twinkling deep blue, radiating a deep, inner coldness. A glint of evil flickered between his half-open eyes. He looked at Dou Yan, nearly drooling. It was Daimyo Bei. Later, Daimyo Bei, the leader of the Shrek Seven Devils, the evil-eyed white tiger, though now more of an evil-eyed yin tiger, was about to head to Soto City for some fun when he was struck by the stunning beauty of Dou Yan. Dou Yan's beauty had been greatly enhanced by the narcissus jade muscle and bones and acacia heartbreak red. The only person in the entire Douluo Continent who could even come close to surpassing her was Jin Ringsu, and Bibi Dong's beauty was only comparable to Dou Yan's. Li Luochen was just sighing in admiration when he was interrupted. The opponent was actually targeting Dou Yan, and he instantly felt murderous intent. His eyes turned scarlet. Although Li Luochen and Dou Yan hadn't yet completed the final move, they were already deeply connected. Someone was actually teasing Dou Yan right in front of him. How could Li Luochen tolerate this? He immediately charged at Daimyo Bei, wielding the might of a Soul King combined with the power of the Killing God domain. Chapter 91 Beating Daimyo Bei. Daimyo Bei initially assumed Li Luochen was just a commoner hoping to join Shrek Academy. He was confident he was superior. He also wanted to have fun in Soto City. Seeing the stunning Dou Yan, eager to catch a glimpse of prey, he immediately took control of her and spoke with impudence. Dou Yan was stunned by Daimyo Bei's words, then furious. How could such a traitor humiliate her? The nobles in Xiandao City all shied away from her, and even those who liked her were polite in their words. Yu Xiangxin from Thunder Academy and Yu Xianhang from Xiandao Royal Academy had both courted her, but she ignored them. She knew their pursuits were fake. The key was to use her connections to recruit her grandfather. These people were despicable. They claimed to like her, but in reality, they were just exploiting her background. Their abilities were so low, they were not even a fraction of Li Luochen's. But Yu Xianhang and the others never spoke such words to Dou Yan. But now, someone actually said such words to her. She immediately wanted to attack, but Li Luochen was quicker. Dou Yan was startled by Li Luochen's sudden burst of momentum. For the first time, Dou Yan felt an icy, bone-chilling murderous aura. Li Luochen unleashed his murderous aura upon Daimyo Bei, sending him crashing to his knees. His legs were instantly broken by Li Luochen's spirit power. The icy murderous aura pierced Daimyo Bei's skin, causing blood to flow continuously. Daimyo had no idea what had happened. He was completely crushed, unable to move. When he regained some consciousness, he saw himself being lifted up by the throat by the man, only a few years his senior. Li Luochen grabbed Daimyo's neck and lifted him up like a chicken. Boy, do you know that words can cause trouble? There are some people you can't afford to offend, right? Arrogance requires skill, but yours isn't matched by skill. Li Luochen swung his left fist, striking Daimyo in the face and body, fracturing his sternum and dislocating his limbs. After Li Luochen finished venting his anger, he simply flicked his hand and threw Daimyo aside like trash. He sensed someone coming, and with a hint of murderous intent. "Who dares to touch my Shrek students?" A loud roar was heard. A huge cocky palm hit Li Luochen. The one coming was none other than old Zhao Wuji, the current strongest person in Shrek Academy, with a soul power of level 82. Sensing that someone was fighting at the school gate, and that it was at the Soul King level, Zhao Wuji decided to strike first. Dai Xiangxing, who was watching the show from the side, also rushed forward at this time, and caught Zhao Wuji's bare paw with his tiger claws. Boom! Thunder was loud but rain was light. The collision of the two palms was powerful, but only the ground beneath their feet cracked a little. "Roar? Is this all the strength you have, little bear?" Dai Xiangxing said with a wicked smile. Zhao Wuji's bare paw couldn't advance even a fraction, leaving him horrified. His brute force was completely ineffective against the blonde, middle-aged man before him. Furthermore, he could clearly sense that this younger man was a soul Douluo, possessing a higher soul power level than himself. His strength was also superior. He felt the blonde man's strength surpassed even that of a titan from the Power Clan, a fact that terrified him. His prided strength had been crushed, leaving him with no chance of victory. "Uncle Zhao, is this how you greet me?" Li Luochen's voice echoed faintly. Zhao Wuji, startled by the familiar voice, turned to look at Li Luochen and immediately released his bare paw. It was all a misunderstanding. A flood had washed away the Dragon King Temple. "Ha ha 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 ha, Xiachen, you're back. Old Zhao, I missed you so much." Zhao Wuji immediately lifted Li Luochen up and even spun him around. He truly missed him after not seeing him for 2 years. "Missed me? And you slapped me? No meal can't heal the wounds in my heart." Li Luochen looked wounded. Okay, I'll take you to Soto City for a good meal the day after tomorrow." Zhao Wuji put Li Luochen down and shouted to the academy. "Old Li, Old Lu, Old Xiao, Xiaoyao, and Hongjin, Luochen is back." Zhao Wuji's voice echoed throughout the academy, and the 5 of them were startled and ran out. Li Yusong was shocked, then delighted. "Xiachen is back, Xiaozin and Lu Kibin, back, Oscar and Ma Hongjin, Brother Chen is back. Let's show him what we've done." Within a few breaths, all the teachers and students from Shrek Academy arrived, with Li Yusong arriving first. Li Yusong's soul power had reached level 78. With a full head of black hair and a sturdy build, he looked like he was in his 40s despite being 60. Thanks to Li Luochen's 9th grade purple Ganoderma pill and 7th grade dragon Ganoderma, Li Yusong's health has been remarkably well. His bodily functions are comparable to those of a middle-aged person, a rejuvenated feeling. Furthermore, after consuming 2 pills of premium whale glue and absorbing the 50,000-year-old golden python spirit ring and spirit bone, his spirit power has rapidly increased. In 2 years, he might even reach the level of Soul Douluo, becoming a high-end combatant on the continent. Li Yusong, cradling Li Luochen in his arms, looked him around, muttering, "You've lost weight, dark circles under your eyes, you feel a little cold, and your eyes have changed. Xiachen, you've suffered. Don't go to such dangerous places next time, okay?" The latest novel is now available on the 6th book forum. Li Yusong knew where Li Luochen was going, and even though he disagreed, he didn't try to stop him. He couldn't decide his grandson's path, and he had no right to change his grandson's decisions. He unconditionally supported his grandson's desire to further his career, but he remained concerned. While he was naturally happy to see his grandson safely back, the changes in him pained him. "I know, Grandpa. I won't do that again." Li Luochen knew he might take another risk, but he opted to benevolently deceive his grandfather. After all, his path was somewhat difficult. Soon, Li Luochen was conversing with his elders and younger brothers. No one paid attention to Daimyo's plight, as he lay there like a pile of mud. It wasn't until Xiaozin noticed his plight and fed him a candy bean. Daimyo awoke to see Li Luochen still hiding behind the teachers, shouting, "Teachers, take him down. He's here to provoke us Shrek Academy. Beat him up like me." Before Daimyo could grasp the situation, Oscar and Ma Hongjin looked at him with disdain. Ma Hongjin spoke first. "What are you talking about, you idiot? Brother Chen is Teacher Li's grandson, a senior at Shrek Academy. He was raised under our teacher's watch, and he's also a powerful Soul King. How dare you say such a thing? It seems Brother Chen's punishment was too light. Let me loosen your bones." Ma Hongjin's body was blazing with fire. He had fought Daimyo many times, and Daimyo had never defeated him. He despised Daimyo's unlearned character, and his frequent nights of reveling in Soto City. He even wanted to corrupt him and Oscar. He teamed up with Oscar to beat Daimyo so badly that he couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. But Daimyo seemed unafraid and continued to act arrogantly. Daimyo's face turned pale after hearing this. He knew Li Luchen's reputation, Shrek Academy's most outstanding student, a great soul master at the age of 7, a soul venerable at 10, a soul sage at 12, and a soul king at 14. Such a record made Daimyo shudder. If he had such ability, he wouldn't have been chased and beaten by his eldest brother, and ultimately abandoned his fiancée to hide in Soto City, reveling every night and enjoying his last moments. Li Luchen looked at Daimyo coldly. As expected, a playboy is a playboy, and a rotten orange is a rotten orange. So what if he has talent? He's just a hopeless piece of shit. Hell, a hopeless piece of shit. I'm not interested, Li Luchen said bluntly, pulling Du Guyan and his grandfather away and into the academy. The other teachers, unaware of what was happening, looked at Daimyo sharply. Chapter 92 Oscar's Changes. Daimyo unceremoniously recounted his recent events. Everyone at Shrek also had a new impression of Daimyo. He was truly hopeless, a man who controlled his superiors. They wondered why he had been summoned in the first place. Zhao Wuji, a rough man, didn't know what the white tiger represented. Xiaozin and Lu Kibin might know something, but they hadn't seen it and wouldn't know. Only Flanders had some insight, but he turned a blind eye to Daimyo, a member of the royal family. He simply wasn't interested. A member of the Xingluo royal family who had secretly fled to the Heaven Dao Empire? He wouldn't cause any trouble. And as for retaliation from the Xingluo Empire? Haha, Flanders wasn't afraid. With his level 84 spirit power, the Xingluo Empire would have to think twice before dealing with him. Provoking a soul Douluo, especially one with a flying attribute, was unwise. They ended up recruiting Daimyo without a clear conscience. He didn't actively cultivate, spending his days partying in Soto City, even trying to corrupt Ma Hongjin and Oscar. For students like this, Flanders had long ago colluded with the teachers and students at the academy to teach only the basics and leave everything else alone, not even the whale glue method. There was no need to treat students like Daimyo too well, he'd leave eventually anyway, no need to reveal the academy's secrets. How bold, Daimyo. How dare you say such things to Sister Yan? You're so brave. Did you know Sister Yan is already a soul emperor? And her grandfather is the all-powerful poison Douluo? How dare you tease her? I have to say, in terms of courage, you're even braver than Xiao Ao and me. You're worthy of being Master Dai, you're so brave. Ma Hongjin's words were sharp. He held Li Luchen in high esteem. First, he helped him understand the characteristics of his martial soul and how to choose a spirit ring to enhance his phoenix attributes. Second, he gave him the immortal herb coxcomb phoenix sunflower to address his martial soul issues, allowing him to cultivate peacefully without the risk of the evil fire. Ma Hongjin acknowledged Li Luchen as his elder brother, but this lecherous creature wasn't just lacking ambition, spending his nights reveling in Soto City, but he was actually trying to bring him and Oscar down with him. And now, he's even flirting with Du Guyan. Daimyo's bottom line has truly blown Ma Hongjin's mind. Oscar was no different. Currently at level 32, he'd been absorbing spirits from his first spirit ring, leaping back from that level. 500 years, 1050 years, 4800 years. Oscar's current spirit skills were super recovery sausage, swift mushroom sausage, and secret detoxification smoked sausage. The spirit beasts required for these skills were personally selected by Li Luchen, making his first 3 skills more practical than Xiaozin's. Oscar's greatest achievement was his third spirit ring, a 4,800-year-old white jade bamboo. This plant-based spirit beast typically resides alongside a highly poisonous spirit beast, forming a symbiotic relationship. Besides its inherent toughness, The white jade bamboo possesses a high resistance to poison, and Oscar's spirit ring inherited this resistance, creating the detoxification sausage. But what if that wasn't all? When Oscar absorbed the spirit ring, his right arm underwent a strange transformation. More precisely, a short sword sprouted from the back of his right hand. A white jade bamboo sword. The blade, approximately 30 centimeters long, resembled a dagger more than a sword, Silanling King's weapon in honor of kings. Oscar had gained an additional spirit bone, and it was Li Yusong who was guiding Oscar on his soul hunt. Li Yusong was no longer the naive Shrek teacher he once was. Li Luochen had provided him with extensive knowledge, especially on spirit bones. Li Yusong himself possessed 2 spirit bones, and he had studied them extensively. Of course, he knew Oscar had gained an extremely rare external spirit bone. It was called the white jade arm blade. It inherited the toughness of the white jade bamboo and was incredibly sharp, making it a powerful offensive tool. Its skill involved converging soul energy into multiple sharp bamboo leaves, which then pierced through the air like a meteor shower. The skill was called 10,000 leaf stab, Sea Wind Eagle Man's wind-piercing stab. After Oscar completely absorbed his spirit rings and spirit bones, Li Yusong used his own spirit power to put pressure on Oscar, allowing him to merge with his spirit bones. This was something Li Luochen had also told him. Oscar had now moved beyond the path of a purely supportive food-type spirit master and could now fight against combat spirit masters. With the offensive abilities of his spirit bones, Oscar's years of training finally found their full potential. Oscar's sparring with Ma Hongjin was no longer restricted, as he had been without spirit skills. The two could now spar freely. This was a different Oscar now. 12 years old, Oscar had a spirit power of level 32, stood 1.78 meters tall, and had a muscular build, evidently that of a spirit master who had trained for years. With Oscar's current physique, one could easily pass for a combat spirit master. This was also why he looked down on Daimyo. Possessing a top-tier beast spirit, yet he had allowed himself to degenerate? Now, he was even being rude, and the target of his insults was his eldest brother, Li Luochen. Frankly, Oscar wanted to beat Daimyo up badly. Just wait, there would be plenty of opportunities in the future. There were only 3 of them left at Shrek Academy now. Li Luochen was a graduate, with a silver soul badge and a soul power exceeding level 40, meaning he had graduated by default. Daimyo's actions were a provocation to his senior, and more broadly, to Shrek Academy. Oscar and Ma Hongjin, close friends who had grown up together, exchanged glances, finding plenty of time to deal with Daimyo. Daimyo suddenly felt a chill down his spine, as if being watched. He felt resentful by his senior, but he was powerless. He was merely a fugitive prince, his cultivation and background inferior. Shrek's teachers were all soul sages and above, including 2 soul Douluos. They would undoubtedly support Li Luochen. Now in the Heaven Dao Empire, he had no power to resist, so he could only maintain a low profile. Try to stay away from Li Luochen. There were no guards here to save him, and even if there were, they would be soul sages at best, no match for the teachers. Daimyo asked Shaozin for a few recovery beans and headed out of the academy. He decided to stay in Soto City for a few days, waiting until their anger subsided before returning. Meanwhile, Li Luochen returned to his room with his girlfriend, Du Yan, and his grandfather, Li Yusong. He didn't kill Daimyo because he didn't want to cause trouble for the academy. The latest novel is released on the 69th book bar. After all, this Yin who is the 3rd prince of the Xingluo Empire, his sudden death would be a loss of royal dignity. But Li Luochen was no pushover. Arrogance had a price to pay. He had already used his murderous aura to damage Daimyo's meridians, inflicting several hidden injuries. Li Luochen, versed in medical science, could perform such delicate tasks, unnoticeable to Daimyo's level of cultivation. In fact, his soul power cultivation had no problems, and even accelerated. In reality, he was draining his potential, sacrificing it in exchange for advancement. Li Luochen's mastery allowed him to reach Soul King without any bottlenecks, allowing him to advance by leaps and bounds, easily reaching the level of 45 in the Soul Master competition of the original timeline. However, the further one progressed, the harder it became to break through, and a Soul Sage breakthrough would inevitably lead to sudden death. Li Luochen left behind not only murderous aura but also several strands of hidden energy, which would only be activated when breaking through a major bottleneck. Unless the title Douluo used their mental power to detect it, it would be impossible to detect, and his sudden death would be considered an accident caused by a failed breakthrough. This was also due to the fact that Li Luochun's training in the Slaughter City had further refined his soul power control. Ha! You dare to insult Yan Zi? Daimyo Bei, you have no future? Want to be emperor? That's impossible. Since you dare to tease Yan Zi? Haha, then your fiancé? Don't even think of getting too attached to you, abandoning your fiancé and living a carefree life? Haha, Zhu's Huking will come to Shrek Academy in 2 years. I will personally train her and let her take revenge. Let's see what happens when you, a scumbag, lose to her. Although Li Luochun couldn't be as ruthless as if someone gave him a foot, he could still show respect to them. This scumbag who abandoned his fiancée with such rude words couldn't just let him off easily, he had to suffer more. Chapter 93 is now available. It'll be available tomorrow, so I'll post another chapter later. Thank you all for your support, it's the biggest motivation for me. As for the upcoming plot, I'll briefly write about my travels, probably in a diary-style format. After all, Tang San and the others haven't arrived yet, and the main plot is all about torturing them. I'm sure some of you can't wait to see NZ's face slapping. Ho ha, I'm looking forward to it too. I recommend a book called Elves, Who Made Him a Gym Leader? Elves, Who Made Him a Gym Leader? Champion Raido, I heard that you challenged the Roto Gym yesterday, right? A reporter asked Jado Champion Ryudo. I refused to answer, Ryudo said stiffly. I heard that you had an all-out battle with the Roto Gym leader, and you were shut out, right? I refused to answer, Ryudo said with a cold face. I heard that after your defeat, the Roto Gym leader asked you to change your online name to Dodo for half a month. Is this true? I refused to answer, Dodo said angrily. What do you think of the Roto Gym leader? I thought I was invincible with 3 Dragonite on my team, but he actually put together a makeshift snow team to challenge me, stuffing it with 4 Lalanenatails. What the hell? Is this something a human could do? Who made him a gym leader? Anime, special, game. Chapter 94 Achievement, Dragon Knight. Li Luochun was no philanthropist. As a time traveler, he knew his own character well. A bound soul, liberated, would inevitably go mad. Having endured the bloody trials of the Slaughter City, Li Luochun was no longer a normal person, but he had a conscience and was determined to protect what he held dear. Daimyo Bei dared to speak rudely? Then let him pay for it his whole life. Li Luochun's power primarily targeted Daimyo Bei's kidneys. Don't you enjoy reveling every night? I'll destroy you and make you a superstar. Even those women look down on you. Taste the hell I've prepared for you, Li Luochun grinned, his black eyes turning red, his face radiating a sinister intensity. Du Guyan noticed the change in Li Luochun's expression, but she said nothing, knowing that Li Luochun had already taught that lecher a painful lesson. She knew Li Luochun's character well. He was never one to be easily persuaded. Of course, when faced with unavoidable decisions, one must follow one's heart. This was also what Li Luochun had instructed her. Although beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, Du Guyan thought Li Luochun was a very good man. However, he had warned her not to be fooled by superficial appearances and to look beyond the surface to the essence of things. It was after this instruction that Du Guyan immediately recognized the Blue Lightning twins' ill intentions. They were courting her even though she knew she had a boyfriend. They were full of sweet talk, and if she were her former self, she might have fallen for them. However, Du Guyan had now become like Li Luochun. With the old fox around, Du Guyan naturally became a little fox. The connection between the two was such that they could understand each other's intentions without even talking. Du Guyan knew from Li Luochun's face that the lecher would have a hard time in the future. She even suspected something interesting, and there was going to be some fun ahead. However, Du Guyan pinched Li Luochun to help him recover, as 3 more people were following him. Du Guyan's pinch also helped Li Luochun regain his composure, and he smiled warmly at Du Guyan. Li Luochun was certain there were only 3 people in this world he could trust unconditionally. Du Guyan and Li Yusong ranked first, one as his future wife and the other as the grandfather who had raised him. Du Gubo, on the other hand, was drawn to Zhao Wuji because of his granddaughter. Li Yusong followed behind them, completely unaware of their expressions. Dai Xiangxing and Lin Chenkin walked alongside Li Yusong. Dai Xiangxing had just struck out once, crushing Zhao Wuji with sheer force, but he wasn't overly proud. Perhaps he had a new understanding of the academy Li Luochun attended. He knew that a man named Flanders from Xiandao City was the academy's dean. His soul power was 1 level higher than his, at level 85, and he was also a flying type soul Douluo, making him a better match for a reckless man like him. Furthermore, he had just observed that Zhao Wuji possessed soul Douluo strength. While less powerful than him, he could still easily match him. The other teachers were soul sages, especially Li Luochen's grandfather, whose cultivation was very close to that of a soul Douluo. He also exuded an unyielding aura. In Dai Xiangxing's opinion, Li Yusong's strength could crush Lin Shenken. However, what intrigued Dai Xiangxing the most was the guy named Dai Mubei. With his surname Dai, and the hint of a white tiger spirit? Haha. He must be one of the bastard's sons. What a pity, he's a coward, lacking even the courage to seize the throne. Instead, he fled to the Heaven Dao Empire to indulge in nightlife? Haha, the Xingluo Empire is also declining. I thought framing us brothers would bring any progress. Is that all I've got? Dai Xianio, sooner or later I'll rip your head off and use it as a chamber pot. And that bitch Zhu Sehua, the Xingluo imperial family will make you pay. Dai Xiangxing's eyes gleamed with a fiery glint. Human desire is like a rolling stone, once it starts, it can't be stopped. Dai Xiangxing's initial plan was to leave the slaughter city and see his mother. Now, with his power greatly increased and his ambition growing, he wanted to make the Dai Xianio lineage pay for framing his family. As for Dai Mubei at the door, Dai Xiangxing had no interest in attacking him. He had his own pride, and there was no point in bullying such a brat. Besides, Dai Mubei was nothing more than a broken-backed piece of trash. Attacking him would be a sullyment to his pride. Moreover, Li Luochen had just attacked Dai Mubei. Although he couldn't understand what Li Luochen had done, he could sense the murderous aura entering Dai Mubei's body. Both of them were exposed to the overwhelming murderous aura in the slaughter city, and Dai Xiangxing also possessed a domain, making him extremely sensitive to it. He didn't know what methods Li Luochen had used, but they were sure to be ruthless. After all, the name of the stick demon wasn't just a boast. Li Luochen's actions in the slaughter city were indeed extremely vicious. Li Luochen ignored all that and dragged Du Yuyan towards his room. After sending Du Yuyan to her room, he chatted with his grandfather for a while. Li Yusong, seemingly understanding something, smiled with relief and found an excuse to leave. Dai Xiangxing, a man of steel, didn't understand why, but Lin Shenken knew, as he was a master of love, and dragged Dai Xiangxing to explore Soto City. Li Luochen watched them leave before going inside, locking the door behind him. Meanwhile, Du Yuyan lay on Li Luochen's bed, stretching lazily. It had been a long journey these past few days, and even with her soul power reaching level 68, she didn't want to go that far. Indeed, Du Yuyan's soul power had reached level 68. After consuming the acacia heartbreak red, she was blessed by the flower god with celestial energy, significantly increasing her soul power. After obtaining her 6th soul ring, her soul power reached level 63. Because Du Yuyan lacked ultimate attributes, her cultivation was incredibly rapid, increasing by 5 levels in nearly 2 years. Numerous immortal herbs, including the heartbroken red of acacia, have permanently transformed Du Yuyan's talent. Her cultivation speed far surpasses that of a soul master with innate full soul power. Even at just over 17, Du Yuyan has already broken records for soul masters. The latest novel is now available on the 6th book forum. Her talent could potentially allow her to reach the rank of title Douluo before the age of 28, and reach ultimate Douluo before the age of 40, without undergoing any divine trials. This is truly terrifying. Li Luochen looked at Du Yuyan lying in bed, then went to close the curtains and walked over to the bed. Chen? Why are you closing the curtains? Du Yuyan's face was filled with confusion. Her ears betrayed her. Their red and redness revealing her inner thoughts. Could it be? Could it be? Chen, are you finally going to do that? I'm not mentally prepared yet. After Du Yuyan imagined it countless times, Li Luochen had already pounced on her, blowing hot air into her ear. Yanzi, you can't run away. Yingning. A blue long skirt fell to the side of the bed, followed by a black tights. A blue and white patterned personal item belonging to Du Yuyan also fell under the bed. There were only 3 sounds left in the room: the creaking sound of the rocking bed, the sound of running water, and the muffled groans of someone blushing, but the groans became more and more intense and high-pitched. Achievement, Dragon Knight. Chapter 95 Daily Life, Travel Thoughts. Around 3 in the morning, the sects ended. As with anything that happens once, there will be countless more. Taking advantage of the novice protection period, Li Luochen thoroughly developed Du Guyan. They had begun at 4 in the afternoon, and Dou Yan had been thoroughly developed by Li Luochen from head to toe. Li Luochen, holding Dou Yan in one hand, was half lying on the bed. If only he had a cigarette right then and there. Afterward, a cigarette would have made him feel like a god. Dou Yan had fallen asleep. However, it was also because Dou Yan was in excellent physical condition that Li Luochen had developed everything he wanted to develop. Otherwise, other women might not have been able to resist. Li Luochen truly wished he would never attend court again. As expected, lust is a knife that scrapes away bones, and for a pure-hearted man, it's even more devastating. My son Fengson said it well, alcohol and sex have made me so haggard. From today on, I'm quitting drinking. However, Li Luochen planned to stay at Shrek Academy for the next 6 months. After that, once he had mastered the god of killing domain, he could travel the continent. He planned to visit the Star Luo Empire first. The Xingluo Empire values force. Anyone with enough power and strength can achieve high status there. Haven't you seen how the Xingluo imperial family's selection of emperors can be described as akin to raising poison? The Xingluo Empire's centralized imperial power, unlike the fragmented Xiandao Empire, allowed Li Luochen to survive safely in Xiandao during his early years. This was entirely due to the corruption within the many principalities under the Xiandao Empire. Even if these principalities knew about the news, they wouldn't have dared to offend the Shrek Academy teachers. After all, their highest combat power was at most a soul Douluo, with most being soul sages. Flanders was already a soul sage by then, so the nobles of the principalities could only treat him with courtesy. However, due to the intrigues within the principalities, they tacitly withheld information about Li Luochen. By the time the Xiandao Emperor learned of Li Luochen's identity, he already had Du Gubo as his backer. Even if Emperor Zhu Yi had tried to pressure him, it would have been futile. The Xiandao imperial family alone didn't have the guts to offend Du Gubo. Moreover, Du Gubo was an honorary Douluo of the Heaven Dao Empire, so he couldn't be bothered to curry favor. If Prince Zuxing hadn't saved Du Gubo, he wouldn't have bothered the Heaven Dao imperial family. With Li Luochen's background, they could only curry favor, not resort to trickery. If Li Luochen had been born in the Xingluo Empire, there would have been only two possibilities: submission to the Dai imperial family or death. The Xingluo Empire values force, and no principalities exist within its borders. The Xingluo imperial family is ruthless and will not tolerate the existence of principalities within them. Furthermore, the imperial family's power is immense. After all, the Dai family's ruthless, gu-raising style election campaign for emperor, while ruthless, has resulted in nearly every emperor becoming a titled Douluo. Furthermore, the Grand Duke Zhu family is closely aligned with the Dai family. The two families' fusion spirit, the Nether White Tiger, is incredibly powerful, making it a no-brainer for cross-level combat. Furthermore, the two families have been intermarried for generations, ensuring shared success and shared loss. The Xingluo Empire also boasts numerous sects, such as the White Tiger sect, affiliated with the imperial family. According to Dai Xiangxing, each successive White Tiger sect leader was a high-ranking soul Douluo, boasting a vast roster of soul Douluos, sometimes reaching 8 or 9. The White Tiger sect serves as the imperial family's public face, and soul Douluos can become its leader. While title Douluos have emerged from the White Tiger sect, those who achieve this status generally become direct deities of the Xingluo Empire. The White Tiger sect typically comprises members of various clans, including the royal family, an aristocracy, with connections to the imperial family. Members of these clans typically possess tiger-type spirits, such as Dai Xiangxing, who was originally trained by the White Tiger sect. Dai Xiangxing's father was a general, and his mother was the daughter of the retired emperor. He belonged to the imperial family, but was suppressed by the all-powerful crown prince, the current Xingluo emperor, Dai Xianyao. This was primarily due to Dai Xiangxing's ill-tempered nature, and his willingness to retaliate against any challenge he encountered, even if the opponent was superior in strength. He had previously severely injured a lackey of Dai Xianyao's lineage, earning him a grudge. Dai Xianyao, by then firmly established as the crown prince, had killed all his brothers, leaving behind only 2 sisters, one of whom was Dai Xiangxing's mother, Dai Xianlin. While emperors didn't necessarily kill all their brothers, most chose to do so. There are always exceptions, such as the lineage dating back to the retired emperor's great-grandfather, which was known for its sincere brotherly love and respect, and the White Tiger sect was founded at that time. Emperors elected through the Xingluo imperial family's Gu cultivation system are generally mentally unstable. They trivialize the act of seizing a brother's fiancée, claiming it's for the prosperity of the imperial family. It's simply a prize for the victor. However, it's undeniable that the Xingluo Empire is indeed incredibly powerful. While it may not possess peak spirit masters, its military is vastly superior to that of the Xiandao Empire. This explains why, 10,000 years after the original timeline, Douluo Continent would become the Three Kingdoms, with the Xiandao Empire splitting into the Daoling and Xianhun empires, while Xingluo remained the same. The Sun-Moon Empire's attack on Xiandao was like beating their own son. Xingluo bore the brunt of the Sun-Moon Empire's armies. The Dai royal family was decimated, leaving the Xingguan sect's Su family to face the crumbling empire. They also say the Xingluo Empire is incredibly tough, all tough bones. Except for Daimyo Bei, who doesn't even dare to fight, instead spending his nights reveling. Really not so great. However, most Xingluo emperors and kings are capable of sacrificing their lives for their country, but the Xiandao Empire, at least, has no such hope. Therefore, unifying the Douluo Continent with Xingluo presents the greatest challenge. Jin Ringsu has been handed the responsibility of handling the Xiandao Empire. Having provided her with a series of strategies, this little angel should be able to replicate them. Given the low IQ of the Douluo Continent population, the Xiandao Empire is likely a foregone conclusion. Li Luochen plans to stir up trouble in the Xingluo Empire. With Douluo's presence, it shouldn't be a problem. With Douluo's level 96 cultivation and a 100,000-year spirit ring, no Xingluo Empire can truly withstand his might. The latest novel is being released on the 69th Book Forum. With Douluo protecting them, they'll be safer. Dai Xiangxing will definitely go to Xingluo, after all, it's his home. As for Lin Changqin, he's decently strong at level 74, with a top-tier mutant beast spirit, so bringing him along won't be a problem. Let's take Grandpa with us, too. He's rarely traveled far, and reading is worse than traveling thousands of miles. Perhaps some more travel will help him improve his cultivation. A little over a year of wandering around won't be a problem. Douluo at level 96, Dai Xiangxing at level 84, Li Yusong at level 78, Lin Changqin at level 74, Du Yuyan at level 68, and Li Luochen at level 59. This lineup is quite impressive, practically a soul hunter team. Douluo's current strength is unfathomable, and Dai Xiangxing could rival a level 91 title Douluo, though only by comparison. Grandpa Li Yusong and Lin Changqin, while both soul sages, are soul Douluo level together. Finally, Li Luochen and Du Yuyan's soul fusion technique is invincible below the level of a title Douluo. At that point, Li Luochen was in his mid-50s and Du Yuyan was in her 50s. With Du Yuyan nearing soul sage status and Li Luochen nearing soul emperor status, the power of their soul fusion techniques has increased even further. If both were soul sages, their soul fusion techniques in actual combat could kill title Douluos below level 95. The Super Douluo realm is far from certain. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96 The Two Young Brothers' Moods. Li Luochen got up and put on his clothes. Du Yuyan was still sleeping, perhaps too tired. Li Luochen quietly covered her with a quilt and then went out. After the door closed, Du Yuyan opened her eyes with a nympho smile on her face. Hey, I finally achieved a goal. Hiss. My old waist, is he a beast soul master or am I a beast soul master? Isn't it said that the physical body of a weapon soul master is inferior to that of a beast soul master? Which bastard said that? It's complete nonsense. However, Chen In-hit is so cute. Originally, seeing that he has not done anything for a long time, this girl wanted to drug him. It seems that there is no need. But, will I get pregnant after all this trouble? No, I can't get pregnant now. I'm only 17 years old and can't have a big belly yet. Otherwise Chen won't be able to take me out to play. Let's wait a few years. Anyway, Chen and I can both become title Douluo and have long lifespans. After we have enough fun, we can have children with Chen. It's too troublesome to have children now. What if I give birth to a daughter, won't she be stealing Chen from me? No, this can't happen. Chen is mine and can't be taken away from me now, Dou Yan urged her soul power to expel the milk in her body, preventing the milk from entering the key position. After completing these tasks, Dou Yan rose from her bed. Her legs trembled as she stumbled, nearly losing their balance. Dou Yan summoned her soul power to quickly recover. Once her legs had healed, she changed the sheets, which had been rather grievous. Dou Yan's face flushed again as she stared at them, thinking, "This isn't all mine, is it? No way, am I that sensitive? Is this a flood?" Dou Yan abandoned the thought and simply dug a fresh sheet from the closet, changing it. Then, she covered herself with a fresh blanket and went to sleep. After all, she needed a good rest after such a long day of hard work. Soon, the sound of steady breathing could be heard, and Dou Yan fell asleep, a smile still on her lips, even drooling. Elsewhere, Li Yusong, having left his room, decided to stroll outside, but noticed the cafeteria lights were on. He went in to check. Upon entering, he found two people practicing. The two were Oscar and Ma Hongjin, their relationship extraordinary, even closer than in the original timeline. Oscar was in the kitchen, constantly releasing his martial spirit and using spirit abilities. The cafeteria kitchen was a natural and common food-based mimicry training environment, allowing Oscar to achieve twice the result with half the effort. Ma Hongjin sat cross-legged beside the stove, its rich flames acting as a semi-mimicry training room, perfect for his cultivation, at least much better than his own room. The two were immersed in their training, unaware of Li Yusong's arrival. "Haha, it seems you two are quite capable. You've taken my advice seriously and practiced diligently. We'll have two more powerful titled Douluo in the future." Li Yusong folded his arms, smiling at the two young men. Li Yusong's voice immediately woke the two men from their practice. Since they were merely cultivating their spirit power, not attempting to break through bottlenecks, waking them up was perfectly acceptable, as long as they weren't intimidated. "Brother Chen? Why are you here?" "Hey, Brother Chen, are you here to check on our training? Little Ao and I are working very hard." Oscar and Ma Hongjin also regained consciousness. They saw Li Yusong smile, and his words were filled with affirmation and recognition. After all, Li Yusong was one of their mentors, especially since they were not much older than him. Li Yusong was not only their senior, but also their teacher and brother. Li Yusong's help to them was immense. Li Yusong was extremely attentive when teaching, and he truly enjoyed imparting knowledge. Fortunately, Ma Hongjin and Oscar were well-behaved children, obedient and attentive, making teaching a comfortable experience for Li Yusong. If they had been more troublesome, Li Yusong would have felt a pain in his liver, a common occupational ailment among teachers in previous lives. An irritation that burned his liver. It was precisely because Li Yusong was educating them, not only in terms of soul master knowledge but also in terms of how to be a good person, that he instilled in them the right values from a very young age. Even though Li Yusong wasn't sure if his own values were correct, he used them as a model for his two younger brothers. This is why Oscar and Ma Hongjin are considered the three good boys of another world. This is also why they don't get along with Daimyo Bei. Daimyo Bei, seeing their talent, wanted to befriend them so they could help him in his quest for the throne. He spent a fortune cultivating relationships, but Oscar and Ma Hongjin preferred cultivation. Their first lesson was that a spirit master's strength is paramount. Without it, they can't even protect what they want to protect. Even their future loved ones can be taken away. Li Yusong even used stories from his original world, such as the White Snake, but slightly adapted them for the Douluo Continent. This directly motivated the two young men to work even harder in their training, as they didn't want to risk being unable to protect what they cherished. Secondly, Li Yusong taught them that strength is for protection, for oneself and loved ones, not for wanton, tyrannical, or overbearing behavior. The strong dare to draw their swords against the stronger, while the weak only vent their force against the weaker. Of course, nothing is absolute, the use of power depends on your inner integrity. The latest novel is released on the 69th book forum. Li Yusong himself truly couldn't draw his sword against a stronger opponent, otherwise he wouldn't have bowed down to the spirit hall. He favored a ruthless strategy of crushing opponents, but his values were already set, and raising his two children required instilling upright values. This is why Oscar and Ma Hongjin looked down on Daimyo Bei, who often relied on his advanced skills to act tyrannically, even engaging in brazen battles with other prostitutes in the brothels just to snatch a single prostitute. That wouldn't have been enough, but Daimyo Bei even wanted to take them to that kind of place, clearly aiming to drag them down and corrupt them. Oscar and Ma Hongjin were furious. "You're fine with your own business, But you're trying to corrupt us. Oscar and Ma Hongjin beat Dime Yubei so hard that he couldn't get out of bed for 3 days. The incident even alerted Zhao Wuji, but Zhao Wuji left without making a fuss. Actually, Oscar and Ma Hongjin had wrongly accused Dime Yubei. Dime Yubei had intended to use the brothel incident to win them over, offering them some money to build a close relationship, but ended up getting a beating. This was also due to Li Luochen instilling in Oscar and Ma Hongjin positive values. They were now considered upright and righteous young men who hated evil, so they looked down on Dime Yubei. A top-tier beast spirit master, with innate soul power at level 9 and soul power at level 28, actually indulged in women? What a waste of such talent. You two little guys, you need to combine work and rest when practicing. You can't just keep practicing so hard, or you'll easily go astray. Come on, let's go outside and let me give you two a try, Li Luochen said to them with a smile. He then headed towards Shrek's independent fighting arena, and the two little ones followed. They loved Li Luochen's advice because it allowed them to quickly identify their own weaknesses. Chapter 97 The two little ones' strength has improved. Li Luochen brought Oscar and Ma Hongjin to Shrek Academy's Soul Fighting Arena. Originally, there wasn't one, but Flanders had specially built a small, circular arena with a diameter of 15 meters, large enough for the three of them to perform. Furthermore, the area was quiet and deserted, so they could go all out. Come on, attack with all your might. Let me see how strong you are now. Li Luochen didn't unleash his spirits, but instead produced an iron rod he had crafted years ago for practice. It weighed about 30 kilograms, so there was no need to worry about injuring them. Oscar, Soul Sausage, level 32 food type battle soul master, please teach me. Brother Chen, Ma Hongjin, Soul Fire Phoenix, level 29 power attack type battle great soul master, please teach me. Brother Chen. The two unleashed their own spirits, and soul rings emerged. Oscar's was yellow, purple, while Ma Hongjin's was yellow, purple. Both had absorbed their second soul rings beyond their limits, absorbing from soul beasts that had just passed their 1000th anniversary. While the absorption was painful, the benefits were immense. Although Ma Hongjin's soul power was only one level higher than Dime Yubei's, he had one more purple soul ring. The difference between a 1000-year soul ring and a 100-year soul ring was still significant, which was why Ma Hongjin was able to defeat Dime Yubei so easily. The same was true for Oscar. While the soul power of a food-type soul master was gentle, the soul rings had profoundly transformed his body, allowing him to crush Dime Yubei, who didn't use any soul skills. Come on, attack me with the determination to kill me. Anything that forces me to use my martial soul, my soul skills, my blood, or even leave the fighting arena will count as victory, Li Luochen said calmly. Oscar and Ma Hongjin were accustomed to this. Li Luochen always said this during their sparring due to the vast difference in soul power between them, making them unable to harm him. Oscar took the lead, leaping forward and launching a straight punch at Li Luochen. Well done, Li Luochen watched Oscar's swift punch and reached out to grab Oscar's fist. It's good, but not strong enough. That punch is still 400 kilograms, comparable to power attack soul master. It's a shame it's not strong enough to hurt me, haha, Brother Chen, I didn't mean to hurt you. Oscar suddenly grinned, his intention being to launch a feint. At that moment, Li Luochen sensed Ma Hongjin had already arrived behind him. Second soul skill, Soaring Phoenix Wings. First soul skill, Phoenix Fire Line. Ma Hongjin amplified his soul skills and superimposed them on his first, bringing the power of this attack to that of a high-level soul master's third soul skill at full power. Phoenix Wings Soaring increases the power of fire by 100%, doubling the power of Ma Hongjin's first soul skill, Phoenix Fire Line. Haha, not enough, Muda. Li Luochen caught Oscar's straight punch with his left hand and swept the iron rod with his right, scattering the flames. Oscar didn't rest. He launched a sweeping kick, attempting to trip Li Luochen. Instead, his kick swiped Li Luochen's leg, leaving him feeling like he'd struck a diamond pillar instead of a leg. Hey, good moves, little Ao. Looks like your kicks are more powerful than your punches. Li Luochen complimented him, but he also attacked immediately. A powerful blow that sent a cold sweat pouring down on Oscar, who instantly retreated backward. Boom, a hole was punched into the ground. Oscar wiped his sweat, thinking, if I'd been hit by that, I'd probably have been bedridden for days. Ma Hongjin didn't hesitate. Instead, he took advantage of the gap left by Li Luochen's attack and launched an attack. This time, However, Mo Hongjin chose close combat, flapping his wings and moving to Li Luochun's side. His hands, enchanted with fire, resembled iron claws. A self-created soul skill, Phoenix Flame Claw. Li Luochun, sensing Mo Hongjin's attack, quickly blocked it with his iron rod. The rod burned red hot and threatened to break, but Li Luochun's soul power protected it. Hongjin, that attack was good, but it needs some work. I suggest you improve it gradually as your level rises, and don't delay your training. Li Luochun was quite pleased with Mo Hongjin's self-created soul skill. Mo Hongjin was only 9.5, and already had a self-created soul skill. Well, his talent was far superior to that of the original timeline. Seeing his attack fail, Mo Hongjin retreated to Oscar's side. Hongjin, I'll take the lead, and you hold the rear guard and wait for the opportunity to strike. Oscar looked at Mo Hongjin, but their eyes were different, as if they were communicating something. Li Luochun wasn't paying attention, so he didn't notice the exchange. Communicating during battle isn't a good habit, and you're shouting so loudly that you can't even get your plane across. That won't do. Li Luochun looked at the two boys. Why were they still plotting out loud? Were they trying to make fun of me? They were still too young. Oscar weaved to the side, and Li Luochun's gaze was now fixed on Oscar's position. He subconsciously assumed Mo Hongjin was gathering strength. First spirit skill, Phoenix Fire Ray. Mo Hongjin instantly unleashed his spirit skill, striking right at Li Luochun's feet, creating an explosion of smoke. The latest novel is now available on the 6th book bar. Well, according to the smoke, no harm theorem, Li Luochun was fine, his vision obstructed. However, his mental power was so strong that he could see the enemy's movements even without seeing. But Li Luochun didn't use his mental power. Why would he use it to bully two boys? He shouldn't bother with that. While Li Luochun was still trying to determine his position, Oscar had already activated his second soul skill, Swift Mushroom Sausage, allowing him to fly for a quarter of an hour at the speed of a spine-tailed swift. This supreme soul skill. A pair of wings sprouted from Oscar's back, allowing him to fly at high speed. Then, a white blade extended from his right arm, approximately 30 centimeters long and entirely white, appearing completely inconspicuous. 10,000 leaf stab. Oscar unleashed his soul bone skill, sending countless sharp bamboo leaves, formed from soul power, hurling towards Li Luochun. Li Luochun also sensed this and hastily used his iron rod to block it. Only then did Li Luochun realize he had fallen into a trap, a series of traps that had tricked him. While Oscar briefly suppressed Li Luochun, Mo Hongjin unleashed a full-power Phoenix Fire attack, seizing this momentary opening. Li Luochun stared at the incoming flames with a wave of distress. He had been trapped. Third soul skill, Rippling Azure Waves. Li Luochun's body radiated a wave of water, one after another, counteracting the soul skills of Oscar and Mo Hongjin. This was another use for Li Luochun's third soul skill. It could radiate energy from his own body. While it couldn't compare to the waves of energy created by a club, it was quite impressive. With a stomp of his foot, a wave of energy emanated from his body, a truly impressive skill for crushing weaklings. Ah, you win. And you even had a chain reaction. You guys tricked me. You two are quite the con man, aren't you? Li Luochun looked at Oscar and Mo Hongjin, feeling quite pleased. At least these two were strong and skilled. Perhaps they'd become even stronger after a few months of training at the Soto City Soul Fighting Arena. Hey, Brother Chen, how are we doing? Oscar looked at Li Luochun with a delighted face. Nothing made him happier than Li Luochun's praise. Very good, very good. I'm very satisfied. But I'll remind you again, balance work and rest in your training, don't just focus on hard work. Li Luochun's praise made the two boys so proud that their tails were almost up in the air. Chapter 98, Things that Happened in the First Half of the Year. After Li Luochun had instructed the two boys and offered them some advice, he was surprised to learn that Oscar had acquired an external soul bone. Li Luochun personally examined it and found that Oscar's external soul bone, the white jade arm sword, was quite impressive, tough and sharp, with the ability to develop skills. The greatest characteristic of external soul bones is that they increase with the soul master's skill level. Oscar's soul bone currently has a lifespan of 4,800 years, but it should increase with the absorption of his next soul ring. The original plan was for Oscar to absorb his fourth soul ring at around 8,000 years, but now he should be able to try 9,000 years. Soul bones can significantly strengthen the body. Oscar is, after all, a food-type soul master, and even with all his training, He still can't match a combat soul master of the same level. However, with his external soul bone, soul rings under 10,000 years old should be no problem. As for those over 10,000 years old? Forget it. The soul of a 10,000-year-old soul beast would experience immense shockwaves. Oscar and Ma Hongjian's mental strength was mediocre, and even with the hope due, they might not be able to withstand it. A 9,000-year-old fourth spirit ring would be fine. It was far more powerful than the fourth spirit rings of other soul masters, more than enough to make one invincible at the same level. In Li Luoqin's opinion, the first 4 spirit rings were used for foundation building. Titled Douluo typically used spirit skills of 10,000 years or more in battle, rarely using 1,000-year-old skills unless they were used to overpower weaklings or for utility purposes. Alright, let's go to the cafeteria for lunch. It's already daybreak, let's grab something to eat, Li Luoqin said casually. He felt a little hungry. He'd been out for a stroll and a bite to eat in the first place. Okay X2, Li Luoqin returned to the cafeteria. The food at Shrek Academy was quite good these days. Soul beast meat was always available. Zhao Wuji had requested a weekly delivery of several high-quality soul beasts from the Bara Kingdom. Shrek Academy was truly formidable these days, boasting 2 soul Daolus and 3 soul saints. Its strength was so immense that even the Bara Kingdom's royal family could only befriend it. Moreover, Shrek Academy is no longer a small, unknown institution. Some have even touted its reputation as boasting a soul Daoluo level dean, high-quality teaching, and an elite curriculum, calling for anyone with a talent to join. However, enrollment remains low, with most barely qualified students going to Blue Domination Academy. Even a few 12-year-olds who have reached level 25 in spirit power have gone there, given its greater resources. Flender had originally considered merging Shrek Academy with Liu Erlong's Blue Domination Academy, citing its superior resources and mimicry training environment as rivaling those of the 5 elemental academies. However, just as Flender was deciding on this, he received a letter from his good friend Uzia Gang, stating that he had accepted a highly gifted disciple, who would graduate in 2 years and could attend Shrek. Shrek Academy only accepts monsters, not ordinary people. His disciple, Tang San, possessed a full innate spirit power and had already acquired a second spirit ring, reaching level 25. 10-year-old Tang San should be around this level, after all. He seemed to have broken through level 20 at 8. And he probably reached that level while working as a blacksmith. Flanders felt annoyed upon reading the letter. He'd been planning to merge the academies, spending every day with his daughter and Erlong, but then this old man came out like this. Furthermore, Flanders' spirit fusion with Yu Zion was gone, so he couldn't possibly have a favorable impression of her. Thinking back, he felt that Yu Zion was pretentious, possessing no real strength but acting like a master, even trying to win Liu Erlong's heart. After having won her heart, he was caught by her family. Liu Erlong, despite her dignity, had offered to stay with him for the rest of her life, but this FW had simply run away. Thinking back, Flanders wanted to punch him. But thanks to his escape, he and Liu Erlong had finally achieved a happy ending. Now that they both had daughters, Yu Zion was out of the question. Firstly, he was only level 29, while Flanders and Liu Erlong were level 85 Soul Daoluo and level 75 Soul Sage, respectively. Is he risking his life for jealousy? If he dared, it would be clear he coveted his cousin, worse than an animal. The following evening, Zhao Wuji set up a large table at the Soto City Hotel to celebrate Li Luoqin's return. Everyone present was delighted, except Daimyo Bei, who was sullen. He had a chance to befriend the talented senior, but it had been abruptly cut short. Daimyo Bei wanted to cry, but couldn't find a place to cry. For the next 6 months, Li Luoqin lived at Shrek Academy, cultivating his murderous aura. By the 3rd month after his return, he had mastered the Killing God domain. The rest of the time, Li Luoqin was writing a book. Feeling that the literary standards of Douluo Continent were somewhat lacking, he drew on memories from his past life to adapt a novel. Based on the novel Battle Through the Heavens, it was adapted into Douluo Continent version. This story follows Xiaohuaho, a useless young master with only half-level innate soul power, who is initially rejected by his fiancée from the Soul King family and subsequently falls in love with Gusun, the only daughter of an ultimate Douluo. This story follows a useless young master who, through his own hard work, becomes a disciple of a titled Douluo named Yao. He defeats his ex-fiancée, atoning for the shame he suffered. With his master's help, he gradually becomes a limit Douluo, earns recognition from his lover's family, and marries his lover. Li Luochen spent a month writing the book, using Jin Ringsu's hand to publish it. Within a short month, the book, titled Douluo Continent, became a viral sensation across the Douluo Continent. The line, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, don't despise the young and poor, is particularly striking. Don't worry about what others think, just remember that you don't live for others, but for yourself. Every day, thousands of people in this world tirelessly strive for their goals. Even after sacrificing everything and seeing no hope, they never give up. When it comes to loving someone, loving them 70% or 80% is just right. All expectations and hopes should be 70% or 80%, leaving the remaining 23% to love yourself. After the pain, comes the transformation that feels almost like rebirth. However, the process of transformation requires painful trials to incubate. These quotations have moved countless soul masters. Many powerful soul masters, even titled soul masters, are reading them, recalling their youthful, frivolous selves. Has their current selves changed from their former, high-spirited selves? In Wuhan City, at the Pope's Palace, an elegant woman was flipping through the novel Douluo Continent. This woman was Bibi Dong. With nothing else to do, she saw her apprentice, Hulina, absorbed in a book instead of practicing. The latest novel is now available on the 69th book bar. Initially, Bibi Dong was a little annoyed, but Hulina's explanation of the book piqued her interest, and she began reading it herself, becoming hooked. Bibi Dong had been reading this novel these past few days, apart from working, and felt a strange resonance between her own fate and the book. Loving someone, 70% or 80% is absolutely perfect. All expectations and hopes are only 70% or 80%. Are the remaining 20% or 30% used to love yourself? Yet, the past is over, why dwell on it? Love yourself? Do I even have the right to love myself? I don't even love her, Jin Ringsu, how can I love myself? Yet, don't worry about what others think. Just remember that you don't live for others, but for yourself. I can't believe that after all these years, Bibi Dong, haven't seen the truth of this yet. Bibi Dong knew that the novel was written by Li Luochen. Jin Ringsu had used the Spirit Hall's connections to publish the novel, so it couldn't have escaped Bibi Dong's eyes. She had a new understanding of Li Luochen. You're young, talented, knowledgeable, courageous, and good-looking, and you're loyal and have loved Dou Yan from the beginning to the end. What a wonderful young person. It's a pity you were born too late. If you'd been born a few years earlier, perhaps I definitely, would have won you over. I don't think Kang Sunji, a common genius, would be so opposed. Bibi Dong sighed briefly, then returned to normal. Now that she had finished her book, she returned to her official duties. I think being in love is mindless, but it's not without brains. A few sentimental sentiments are fine, Bibi Dong. She's not crazy yet, so a few should be fine. Chapter 99 Li Luochen's Travels 1. The word travel is simply abbreviated. I'll publish a sequel if I have time. Half a year later, Li Luochen prepared everything and took a group on a journey. The traveling group was quite large: Du Gubo, Dai Xiangxing, Lin Chengqin, Li Luochen, Du Guyan, and Li Yusong. After half a year of cultivation, Li Luochen's soul power finally reached level 60. Li Luochen almost cursed this damn extreme attribute, wondering why his cultivation was so slow. Fortunately, he and Du Guyan could practice together, and they had a 100% perfect match in martial arts fusion skills. The effect of their combined cultivation was very good. However, what made Li Luochen frustrated was that after half a year of training, he had only cultivated to level 60, while Du Guyan was already level 69 and about to break through to the Soul Saint level. Li Luochen felt that the wait was too long for him to become a Soul Saint and Du Guyan to become a Soul Douluo. Li Luochen was supposed to be protecting Du Guyan, but why did it feel like he was protecting her in the opposite direction? This time, Li Luochen first journeyed to the Xingluo Great Forest to hunt soul beasts and obtain his 6th soul ring. He desired an 80,000-year soul ring with dark attributes, preferably one with special attributes. However, such soul beasts were extremely rare. The Netherbone Dragon was a suitable candidate, but it was difficult to find. After a month of searching in the Xingdao Great Forest with no results, Li Luochen and his companions encountered a wounded tiger. It was a massive, pure black tiger, its red eyes filled with a sinister aura. Its tail was much longer than that of an average tiger soul beast, composed of countless joints and tipped with a massive barb that shone with a sinister, dark light. A dark demonic evil god tiger. Li Luochen recognized it instantly. The dark demonic evil god tiger was severely injured, bearing numerous wounds and scars from lightning strikes, and appeared to be on the verge of collapse. Douluo and Li Luochen teamed up. Douluo unleashed his 8th soul skill, freezing time and controlling the dark demonic evil god tiger, immobilizing it. Li Luochen then used all of his available amplification abilities. With the support of Douluo's soul power, he unleashed his 5th soul skill, Dragon Glory, shattering evils. This 5th soul skill specifically targets those possessing the dark attribute. With a single strike, the powerful 60,000-year-old dark demon evil god tiger, a sinister soul beast rivaling the titan giant ape, fell, and a black soul ring emerged. But Li Luochen didn't rush to absorb the soul ring. He was awaiting the dark demon evil god tiger's natal elixir. That elixir was the essence, forging the might of the otherworldly beings, first becoming a first-level deity and then a god king. Without further ado, a young tiger, attempting to escape through the dimensional rift with its natal bead in its mouth, was intercepted by Li Luochen. Looking at the black bead in his hand, Li Luochen immediately approached the dark demon evil god tiger's corpse. Since the soul ring would dissipate within half an hour, there was plenty of time. Li Luochen, considering the dark demon evil god tiger's powerful bloodline and high-level soul beast, thought it might be possible for a soul bone to drop. And it died with such a miserable look. Having just been severely injured and hunted by another soul beast, it must have held a deep grudge. Li Luochen dissected the corpse with this thought in mind. Sure enough, I expected a soul beast with such a bloodline to have a high chance of dropping soul bones. Li Luochen went all out, absorbing both the soul ring and the soul bone, then swallowing the natal pearl. He figured this would yield a 100,000-year soul ring. So, he swallowed the natal pearl, soul ring, and soul bone all at once. But the dark demon evil god tiger, tainted by the blood of the evil god, was no match for him. Ultimately, he relied on the murderous aura of the killing god domain to barely contain the rampaging soul rings. However, the reward was significant. Li Luochen's 6th soul ring became his natal soul ring, growing in size as his cultivation increased. The dark demon evil god tiger's soul ring now evolved to 75,000 years. Li Luochen also gained his 6th soul skill, Dark Demon Evil Thunder Fury. The soul bone dropped by the Dark Demon Evil God Tiger was from his left arm, greatly enhancing Li Luochen's arm strength and granting him the soul bone skill, Dark Demon Tiger Splitting Fist. He charged his left fist and struck the target. If the target could block, it would explode, inflicting secondary damage. If it couldn't, it would inflict severe damage. Simultaneously, he absorbed all of the target's soul energy, unleashing a multi-pronged punch that would strike surrounding targets. After absorbing the soul rings and soul bones, Li Luochen's soul power reached level 64. The Dark Demon Evil God Tiger possessed immense power, especially the immense energy of its natal bead. After absorbing the energy, Li Luochen departed for the Star Luo Empire, intending to spend a year there, followed by 6 months exploring the Heaven Dao Empire before returning to the academy to await the main storyline. Along the way, Li Luochen encountered many things, and he had one thing he longed to complain about. Why hadn't Tang San encountered any of the geniuses of the previous generation? He encountered them all. Along the way, Li Luochen encountered several Soul Daolus in their 40s and 50s, high-level Soul Daolus at that. Each one possessed a more outrageous spirit than the last. Most of them possessed mutated spirits, all qualified to become titled Daoluo. Li Luochen knew 2 of the strongest. One was Yu Xianshang, whose spirit, the Emerald Demon Blue Luan, reached a soul power of level 86. He was incredibly arrogant and boastful, and Dai Xiangxing was defeated in less than 30 rounds. He was incredibly fast. Li Luochen and Du Yuyan couldn't hit him with their spirit fusion techniques. His agility and speed were both titled Daoluo level, and his attack power was incredibly high. Ultimately, it was Du Yubo who defeated him. The most hilarious thing about Yu Xianshang was that he thought Du Yubo was still the disgrace of his former title Daoluo status, constantly teasing him about his strength. However, when Du Yubo unleashed his level 96 soul power, he was immediately weakened. He fled in an instant, but Du Yubo preemptively activated his 8th spirit ability, Time Freeze, to contain Yu Xianshang. Otherwise, he would have escaped. The mutated emerald demon Douluo was faster than a spine-tailed swift. The latest novel is being released on the 69th Book Forum. Later, Li Yusong discovered that Shang, aside from being a bit arrogant and conceited, was not much else. His arrogance was well-founded. According to Douluo, Shang rose to fame in recent years, initially a relatively unknown figure. His defining battle was defeating Yu Yuansong's eldest son, Ocean. Yu Yuansong's eldest son, possessed a blue lightning Tyrannosaurus spirit, a level 78 martial spirit. Theoretically, a blue lightning Tyrannosaurus spirit master reaching level 70 is equivalent to a soul Douluo. However, Shang, then only level 72, brutally defeated Ocean, even provoking Yu Yuansong's old dragon. However, Yu Yuansong was repelled by the forces behind Shang. The most famous story is that Shang defeated a titled Douluo with his soul Douluo power and subsequently founded the Zuinio sect. Later, Li Yusong journeyed towards the Xingluo Empire, and Daishiangxing successfully met his mother. While the process was somewhat complicated, the overall outcome was satisfactory. Daishiangxing's brother, Daishiangxing, remained by his mother's side. Daishiangxing was 2 years older than Daishiangxing, possessing a soul power of level 86 and inheriting his father's red flame tiger king spirit. According to Daishiangxing, after Daishiangxing was framed, he had already made the empress lineage pay the price. Well, Daishiangxing only left a single sentence: the empress dowager was very good, but the current empress is even better. Upon hearing this, Li Yusong exclaimed inwardly, "Wow, you Xingluo Empire really know how to play." Chapter 100 Li Yusong's Travels 2. Li Yusong traveled the Xingluo Empire for about a year. Along the way, he poached the Poyi and Yuyi clans, 2 of the 4 single-attribute clans, and brought them to Xiandao City. As for those who were looking for trouble, like dogs in the spirit hall, haha, they just ran away when they saw Li Yusong's Pope's order. Well, the Pope's order was quite useful. Li Yusong had originally intended to take the Minyu clan with him, as they were the best scouts. And there was Shang again. He founded the Zuinio sect, which recruited all bird spirits. He had already taken the Minyu clan, and those who had troubled them were quickly defeated by Shang. No one dared to mess with Shang, a soul Douluo. Even a soul Douluo of title Douluo caliber was terrifying. The key was Shang's spirit, the emerald demon King Li. This spirit, endowed with King Li blood, had also mutated to take on the characteristics of the emerald demon bird, making it incredibly fast. Even Bai, the leader of the Minyu clan, renowned for its speed, was defeated by him. His spirit ring configuration was also different from other powerful warriors. His 8th spirit ring was black and red, indicating it was over 90,000 years old. Li Yusong could see his ambition. He wanted a 100,000-year-old 9th spirit ring. But why would the spirit hall keep such an arrogant man? Puzzled, Li Yusong wrote to Jinring Su, who presumably knew everything about Shang. When Li Yusong received the letter 2 weeks later, it was 80% a barrage of insults, sarcasm, teasing, and rants. Specifically, the message was, "Come when you need me, don't bother me when you don't. Are you the young master or am I the young master? Know your place." Li Yusong was speechless. Why was this little angel so bored? Was there any point in writing so many words to criticize him? However, Li Yusong eventually learned that Shang was the great-nephew of King Li Douluo, the 3rd highest honored member of the Spirit Hall. He was a legitimate Spirit Hall bloodline and the current young master of the King Li clan. But it seems he's had a falling out with his family. Li Yusong, judging by his vision, simply doesn't want to inherit his family's billions of gold soul coins and wants to start his own business. Ugh, damn that 2nd-generation rich kid. No, damn that 3rd-generation rich kid. Li Yusong ignored Shang. He was a frivolous, arrogant fellow, boasting that every bird spirit master in the world was a member of his Zuinio sect. Quite arrogant. But he had the capital to be arrogant. Lingam Douluo, a free-spirited cultivator who hadn't yet joined the Spirit Hall, had just obtained his 9th spirit ring. Upon hearing about the Zuinio sect, he challenged Shang to a duel. Lingam Douluo, currently 58 years old, had a spirit power of level 91. Her spirit was the fiery kite, an extremely powerful beast spirit, and she was incredibly beautiful. She had many admirers, but she rejected none of them. She aspired to become the strongest bird titled Douluo. Shang's arrogance prompted her to teach him a lesson. She subsequently engaged in a fierce battle, ultimately defeating Lingyan Douluo. This battle became Yu Xianshang's defining moment. Later, rumors spread among the spirit master community that Yu Xianshang also admired Lingyan Douluo's looks, notably his bird spirit. Although he was 20 years older, that didn't matter much. Lingyan Douluo also had feelings for Yu Xianshang, but she was incredibly proud, so she made a rule: if Yu Xianshang could defeat her 3 more times, Lingyan Douluo would be his. Well, about 6 months later, around the time Li Luochen and his team were helping Du Guyan obtain her 7th spirit ring, news broke that Lingyan Douluo had joined the Zuiniao sect and become Grand Elder and the sect master's wife. Although the continent was undergoing a period of turmoil, Yu Xianshang wasn't the first to achieve this. The forerunner of their generation was probably Tang Hao, the current Haoshan Douluo who had defeated the previous pope, Jin Zhenji, with a powerful blow. As a result, geniuses of Tang Hao's age continued to emerge, and Yu Xianshang was considered the most dazzling of the bunch. After all, Tang Hao, as a sole Douluo, only broke a title Douluo's leg, while Yu Xianshang had defeated him head-on 4 times. During Li Luochen's travels, he met and befriended many powerful individuals, each one a supremely powerful genius. For example, Li Yusong, the Grand Elder of the Zuiniao sect, who was only 37 years old and had a soul power of 74, was known as someone destined to become a title Douluo in his 50s. When Li Luochen returned to the Heaven Dao Empire, he encountered Dihua City, a large city on the outskirts of the empire. Its lord, surnamed Sun, was a soul Douluo level being. The current lord was Sun Zhangfu, who possessed a mutated spirit horn pen and a soul power of 83, a soul Douluo master of both control and support. Sun Zhangfu also had 3 extremely powerful friends, all soul Douluo level masters. The 4 of them met in their youth and were known as the 4 pillars of Dihua City. Feng Qixi, whose spirit was Gui Che, a weapon spirit resembling a Japanese sword, had a soul power of 81. Renzai Oyo, whose spirit was Feng Qi Gilded Boring, was 88 and capable of creating 2 spirit forms, comparable to the snake spear Douluo. Ma Junmo, with his spirit, the abyss-splitting halberd, was level 85. He wielded a pitch-black halberd with dark attributes. The 4 soul Douluos worked in perfect harmony. Even the brothers Dai Xiangxing and Dai Xianyun were injured in their combined battle. If it weren't for Du Gubo's support, they would have been defeated. Li Luochen wanted to complain. The Douluo Continent was unreliable. The content in the books was unreliable. Were the people of Tang Hao's generation really that powerful? They were all terrifying monsters. He'd thought Dai Xiangxing was invincible, but he'd never expected someone even more formidable. Whose subordinates were these? Crucially, these soul Douluos weren't very old. The oldest was Sun Zhangfu, 62. He'd achieved title Douluo status in just 15 years. It was terrifying to think about it. Li Luochen had finally seen the vastness of the continent. Even with his exceptional talent, he wasn't much of a threat until he rose to prominence. After his travels, Li Luochen visited Notting City in Fresno Province to see the so-called Son of Fortune. As soon as he entered Notting City, he felt a gaze upon him. However, Li Luochen's group, except for him, were all soul sage level experts. The gaze simply glanced at them and then left. Li Luochen, of course, knew who it was: Haoshan Douluo. Li Luochen, like a tourist, spent a few days observing Notting City and then departed. On the way, Du Gubo sensed the presence of a soul beast in Notting City and was about to take action, but he was constantly being watched. He had others around him to watch, and those individuals were quite powerful, so they probably wouldn't be able to focus on their granddaughter in a fight. Li Luochen smiled and said, "Don't worry, Grandpa. It's natural to refuse something you like. It's just not the time to claim it yet. Let's explore for a few more days and then return." After their tour, Li Luochen and his group returned to Shrek Academy. The gaze followed them until they reached Shrek Academy. The latest novel is being released on the 69th Book Forum. Did this reckless man really think he was following them without anyone noticing? Du Gubo, Li Luochen, and Du Guyan all sensed his presence. Dai Xiangxing only sensed a faint aura, as if he were being followed, but he wasn't sure. Li Luochen was preparing to digest his 1.5 years of travel, after which his soul power had reached level 67. Cultivating with Du Guyan, 2 levels a year at his current level was already quite impressive. Without ultimate attributes, it would be at least 4 levels a year. Du Guyan had already reached level 77 Soul Sage. Her seventh soul ring was obtained on the coast of the Xingluo Empire. It belonged to a familiar sea dragon, a 100,000-year-old one, though this one was injured. Its body bore numerous tooth marks, and a cut on its abdomen, a wound they had missed. Du Yuyan's physical prowess was exceptional, and her mental strength was immense, allowing her to absorb a 100,000-year spirit ring. This immediately boosted her to level 74, and she then absorbed the sea dragon's spirit bone. The sea dragon had dropped a piece of its right leg bone, which possessed two abilities: Sea Dragon Shadow Escape, summoning seawater, using it as cover to transform the player into a stealth state, making them difficult to detect. This invisibility was effective, significantly enhancing their ability to evade and sneak attacks. Tsunami Sky Rush, unleashing a tsunami-like shockwave, engulfing enemies and dealing a devastating blow. Its unique properties were immense power and wide range, capable of instantly submerging enemies in the waves. Furthermore, Du Yuyan's head spirit bone, also from the sea dragon, was originally 90,000-year-old. With a blessing of the flower god's heartbroken red, it was elevated to the 100,000-year level, but the spirit bone skill remained the same. This time, absorbing the same spirit beast, the spirit bone was further enhanced, granting her a second ability. The demon-breaking skull's second skill, Raging Sea Dragon Roar, unleashes the roar of a sea dragon, sending shockwaves crashing down upon enemies with a force that feels like a physical object, causing shock and damage. Its unique characteristic is that the roar is deep and terrifying, capable of stunning enemies within range and reducing their combat effectiveness. Du Yuyan, aided by her 100,000-year spirit ring and two 100,000-year spirit bones, defeated Zhao Wuji head-on, even rivaling Dai Xiangxing. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.